Well, hello, good evening. Welcome to a special night of championship boxing on Box Nation. And it feels so good to be able to say that. Live on Box Nation tonight, we bring you real steel. We've got fighters here tonight looking to show that they're the real deal. So much coming up. The main event, Sean the Nightmare Noakes will be looking to wake up York Hall to a nightmare as he defends his English title against Jermaine Osbourne-Edwards. We're at British Boxing's spiritual home of York Hall and delighted to have in my company Mr. Ollie Bessel. How are you, sir?
Fantastic, Dave. Looking forward to another big night here at York Hall.
It's just what we do. And listen, this is a man who knows an awful lot about big nights at York Hall and big nights in general. Sam Noakes, how are you?
Yeah, well, obviously back here at York Hall, as you said, the mecca of English boxing. Looking forward to Sean being his first main event, and it's nice to see him up there on that big screen there. And I'm looking forward to seeing him do the job.
And do you know what? I didn't even call it the mecca of English boxing. You did. You love it.
Oh, it's just a generic response, isn't it? That's my fault, isn't it? Should be listening more.
No, but listen, this is big. You have headlined here before at York Hall. You've done it. It was a great night for you, a big win for you. Sean gets his chance tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. I think it's good to get you in the swing of things. So obviously, me and my brother, we're both aiming for the top. And obviously, I think to do it here is a good stepping stone to getting into them big arena shows and getting used to how the way it goes on behind the changing rooms about waiting and all with the pressers and then all things. So I think it's good. I think it's good practice for him because there's going to be big nights around the corner.
And what are you expecting from Sean tonight? This is his first time, not just headlining at York Hall, headlining full stop. There's added pressure.
Yeah, I think he's going to lap it up, mate. I bet he's buzzing. His screen's out there. He's on there. He's probably on the light screen. His Noakes versus his opponent. He's loving it, isn't he? And I think, listen, he's been working hard. He's been shining, and I think it's a credit to himself, isn't it? That he's now the main event of his own show.
And once again, Ollie, I mean, Box Nation delivering again and again and again. English welterweight title fight in your headline. It's title fights galore now on Box Nation almost every week.
Well, you know what? Every time I say this is the biggest Box Nation show yet, we just get bigger and bigger. You know, we're looking at Sean Noakes over there on the big screen, as Sam said. English title fight tonight. Maybe our biggest main event so far. I'm interested to know, though, from Sam, fight week for your brother. How does it feel for you?
You know what, yeah, to be fair, it's been quite relaxed, really, and I think, obviously, as it's gone on, Sean's, it's like the 10th fight now, isn't it? So he's we're veteran pros now. I know it seems funny saying, but we're getting down that end, so it's just, especially for me, I don't know if it's felt for him, but I think where he's done the weight so well, it just felt like a normal week. He's been fine, he ain't like me, I'm proper moody and grumpy quite week, but he's been a pleasure to be around.
As his brother, though, that investment that you have in his fights, is it up there with your own fights?
So I get more nervous watching Sean fight than I do. I mean, obviously, because I might be a little bit of a control freak. I probably get that from my old dear, but where I'm not in there being able to control it, it's a little bit more nerve-wracking for me. I mean, even now, holding this for me, I'm just sweating talking about it. But I think, listen, Sean's in a great camp. He's got a great coach in Mickey Burt, good strength coach in Jordan, and he's put the work in, and I think it's going to show tonight.
I can see your mum's here tonight as well. Big Shazza's in the building.
Later, mate.
Yeah, I was going to ask, who's going to be louder, you or Big Shazza?
Well, probably my mum. I'm trying. I can see Mickey normally tells me to shut up when I'm talking, so I'm trying to hold it in a little bit. But it all just depends, innit? You know, emotions run high and get all hot in here anyway. It's like a little sweat box. So we'll see. It'll be good.
Listen, while we've got you, because I think we're going to have a quick chat with Alfie Warren briefly. Let me. What's going on with you at the moment? I saw you sparring Shakur Stevenson. You're still unbeaten. You're doing so well in a brilliant weight division in lightweight. What's going on with Sam Noakes?
Yeah, so obviously I was just telling you off camera there for that. So obviously I sat down for a Chinese in January, and Al rings me up and goes, "Oh, you're sparring tomorrow?" And I'm like, "Oh, great." I said, "Who is it?" And he goes, "Shakur Stevenson." And I was like, "God, you're joking, aren't you?" And then obviously, yeah, we went up there and it came out all right. It wasn't. Obviously, listen, he's world-class, three-time world champion. I ain't going to say I was sitting there smashing it, but I have been saying, I think I ain't far off that level, and I think coming into the stage of the career I'm at now, I think I'm ready for them big fights, and I'm looking forward to it coming off. So, I think a big year. I think I'm looking to get out again in May, and then after that, once we get the ball rolling, I think it's just going to be onto bigger and better things.
Was it a sparring session where you came away thinking, "Ooh, I'm better than I thought"?
Yeah, probably. You know what? I'm confident, yeah, but I'm not one to be arrogant about it. Both of it. I know what I can do. But you know, it is nice, yeah. At first, I got in there and I was watching him warm up, and I was thinking, "Oh, am I doing this right?" And then obviously, as the spar went on, I had me little bit of say and all that. So it is nice. I left there, I was buzzing. Obviously, beforehand, I was thinking, "Oh no, I've got to spar in the morning." But afterwards, I was buzzing, man. I think it's the only time that the whole of the iBox fighters have all been in the gym together, yeah. not everyone was allowed in, but obviously Al said all the fights can come down, and we never. It was good. The only time they come down is when they see my edge get punched. That's what it is.
Hey, maybe next
Gets
time.
them all together, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, most certainly. Listen, maybe next time you'll see him will be in an actual ring, not actually sparring. You're right, top of your game, right?
I mean, listen, if that fight ever comes on the table, we're ready for that fight. We'll grab it with both hands, Kev. Don't worry about that, mate.
Wow. Listen, how are you feeling about the opponent tonight, the Kundalini King, who's coming in to upset Sean? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I think. Listen, I was saying to Mickey Burke earlier, I said Sean's got to be on his A game. I mean, listen, this geezer's very confident, he believes in himself, and he trains hard. And I think that combination could be a little bit dangerous. But I just think Sean's too class at the minute. And I think he's becoming coming off the back of a good win against a tough opponent. So I think he's going to really shine tonight.
Very good main event, Ollie.
Fantastic main event. And look, we were talking off camera as well about the progression of fighters. You know, there's certain milestones that fighters have to reach and move past. Making your professional debut, going the distance for the first time, your first stoppage. Tonight, Sean Noakes' main event for the first time. So this is a big tick on his sheet. He's got to come through it. He's got to show that he can be the headline act. He's got to show that he can send the crowd away happy. I'm excited. I'm sure he can. But he's got to go in there, get the job done.
He most certainly has. And listen, every time you've been in the ring, you get the job done. You've got the job done. This opening sort of 5 minutes. Well done, Sam. We're going to swap you out. I think we'll see you again a little bit later on.
You might do, Dev. Might, maybe.
Mate, don't leave me like that. Don't leave me like that. Let's bring in...
Right, see you later on, boys.
See you later.
Thanks, Sam.
Let's bring in Alfie Warren. Alfie, how are you?
I'm alright, how are you?
I'm okay. Listen, it's another big one. I come to York Hall, Box Nation show, Warren Boxing Management. There seem to be more screens than ever. Seems to be more hype than ever. You hyped for this one?
I'm always hyped. You know that, don't you? But yeah, no, it's going to be a brilliant show. Great headline acts. You know, got Ezra Taylor, all the big names on the card. You know, Sam Kings, all the Queensland guys, and. Yeah, it's just a privilege to have them on. It's just, you know, been doing these shows for a while now, and it just seems like as a bigger and bigger name comes on every single time. So, you know, I'm always excited about it. And what a good headline fight.
Yeah, brilliant. And Ollie, we were talking about this influx of Queensbury fighters now on this show. Ezra Taylor, right at the top of his game right now, unbeaten in 10 fights, but could be a banana skin tonight.
It could be a banana skin. Look, we all saw Ezra in Bournemouth last week, you know, building up a fight with Louis Edmondson. But what people weren't talking about is he's still got 2 fights before he gets there. One of them tonight is here at York Hall. We spoke about Ryan Maycock. I mean, banana skins at York Hall, he is one of them. Last time out at a Box Nation show here at York Hall. He is no easy opponent. So Ezra's got to be right at the top of his game. He can't be thinking about the 10th of May in Nottingham. He can't be thinking about Louis Edmondson. He's got to go in here and get the job done. You know, we've seen fighters time after time come to York Hall, get in the ring with somebody that they should beat, and then walk away with a draw on their record or a loss on their record. I'm sure it won't happen to Ezra tonight, but that's the danger.
Yeah, I like this fight as well because Maycock will keep him busy in there, and that's what you got to do. You know, he's got to tick over and all that. I just, you know, God willing, don't get no injuries or anything like that, and we'll go on for the 10th of May. But you know, Ryan will make him work every single second as well. So he's got to be, you know, on his game. He's got to, you know, not overlook him. He needs to get up for it as well. And you know, Ryan, this is a last-minute replacement for Ryan as well, and brilliant. And you know, big shout out to my brother Fred, who put that together as well right at the last second. So that was brilliant for us. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one. But I think Ezra will come for it. You know, we know how class he is. He's levels above, but it'll be a fun fight while it lasts.
No, absolutely. I'll tell you another one that's really caught my eye. And I've been following his story, well, I guess like both of you have, since the very start. Mitchell Smith, 2015, he was Young Boxer of the Year with the Boxing Writers. A young man who lost his way, but he's making his way back. What's it been like working with Mitchell Smith his last couple of fights?
Well, you remember, Dev, I mean, when we first started out, you know, he was one of the most promising prospects in the country. He was destined to be, you know, the next big thing, the next Kevin Mitchell and all that. You know, he had all the plaudits, everything. But, you know, as you've seen so many times in the sport, just lost his way. And he wants to come back now. You know, he's managed by Simon Legg now, so I know that Simon would steer him in the right direction. You know, he hasn't lost his support. You'll hear it tonight. Honestly, he more or less packed this place out, Mitchell. But he looks in phenomenal shape. as well. And I just really hope that you know, he sticks to it now, and goes on to doing what he first set out to do as well. It's going to be hard, obviously. He's had all that time off, but you know, a couple of more building fights and all that, and get into a big fight. I think he can do it.
Alfie, looking at the shows in general, Warren Boxing Management, the journey they've been on in the last 12 months especially, you've seen huge growth with the business, not just management now, but the promotional side of things. As the man that started it all, what's it like for you to look at York Hall tonight, the screens up, the fight card that we've got on, multiple Queensberry fighters, Dev Sani, the man himself, presenting your shows? How does it feel for you? What's the journey been like for you?
Well, he wasn't my first choice. But, you know, beggars can't be choosers. But no,
have to make do.
No, do you know what? It's a privilege. Like with Dev, Dev would know. You know, I started out round about the same time, Box Nation days. I was, you know, doing the whipping backstage for Frank shows and all that, and that's how I learnt that, and you know, did Dev at the same time. So it's been brilliant. When it come back, Box Nation, I didn't realise it was going to get big as quick as Harry's got, but that just goes to show really how big the brand is, Box Nation, and how quickly it's done and all that. And you know, for Frank, George, and everyone up there to put all their fighters on there, it still means a lot to them. This brand, they built it and all that, and they want to preserve it. And I will always thank them for letting us, carry it on with all the shows and do it proud. But yeah, as WBM goes, I mean, how we've gone from strength to strength, management-wise, the huge signings. Echo Esserman, we're signing them up. Fighters like Zach Chelly, big fighters who we're going to get in big fights this year as well. And that's just a testament. Not just a testament to myself. It's the whole team, yourself, Ollie, my brothers, everyone. And we've really built it up the last couple of years, and it's only going to get bigger. I think that we're creeping up to being one of the biggest boxing management companies in the country, and I think that we can be the biggest. We really can. We've got so much to offer. We've got the platform to offer. We know we can create the opportunities, everything. I mean, even last year, the opportunities we created for our fighters, some lost, some won, but we created those opportunities for them. And that's what the management business is all about. We can do everything outside the ring for you, but inside the ring that you've got to deliver. That's it. And that's what we're doing. And I'm really pleased in the position we're in. And it's brilliant. We're not advertising ourselves. We're not putting ads in, programs and, like putting like silly little promo videos. Come join us. People are approaching us, and we're not going out there. And the reason they're approaching us is the job that we're doing, and I know we can deliver. And we're only going to get bigger.
Great stuff, Alfie. Great stuff, Ollie. And now the great stuff truly begins. We're about to ready to begin the action now. Let's head over to your MC for the evening, Mark Burtis, and a brilliant commentary team tonight. Paul Dempsey, Richie Woodall, and Echo the Engine Esselman.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to viewers of Box Nation watching through the YouTube channel. Please welcome into the ring from Canning Town, Lee Hallett.
So with thanks to Mark Burtis and to Dev and Ollie and to the cast in our build-up this evening, a very warm welcome everybody. Here we are live on Box Nation, the YouTube channel, everybody's favourite London small hall venue, and it's beginning to fill up as we begin to get the first live fight together here. It's a very big occasion
and
for all
from
involved.
Chatham, Kent, please welcome into the ring, Tube Phillips.
So kicking it off this evening in the welterweight division, Toomey Phillips. 3 wins out of 3 so far. It's a cast tonight with so many talented youngsters, so many talented fighters who we cannot call youngsters actually, but for whom, as Warren referred, a moment ago, for whom another opportunity has been presented, another offshoot in this boom time for boxing in Britain and beyond. People cannot say they're not getting chances these days. So Timmy Phillips set to meet Lee Hallett. Mark Burdis will lead us through the preliminaries.
Ladies and gentlemen, our first bout this evening is a 4 3-minute rounds contest in the welterweight division. Firstly, fighting out of the red corner with over 85 contests to his name, weighing in 147 pounds 3 ounces, and tonight he wears the black shorts with white trim. Please welcome from Canning Town, Lee Hallett. And across the ring in the blue corner, unbeaten with 3 wins, also weighing in 147 pounds and 3 ounces. And tonight he wears the black shorts with gold trim. Please welcome from Chatham, Kent, Jermaine Phillips. Your referee in charge is Rocky Israel, who will now give his final instructions to both boxers.
Well, guys, protect yourself and obey my command at all times. Touch gloves and good luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is 4 3-minute rounds.
So our thanks to Mark Burdis. Here we go, getting the live action underway tonight from the York Hall Bethnal Green. We're streaming live. Welcome everybody on Box Nation's YouTube channel. One cracking fight to get us underway at 4 rounds, with so much intrigue and interest to come a little bit later, including Mitchell Smith back before a London audience tonight. Ezra Taylor, who's certainly put himself up there, maybe put a target on his own back in recent times. And at the top of the bill, Sean Noakes, the English welterweight title defence against Jermaine Osbourne-Edwards. And I'm delighted to say that in addition to the one and only Richie Woodhall, we'll be hearing also this evening, tailor-made for this job, most certainly, one of Britain's outstanding welterweights, Echo Esserman, who will also be alongside us into this opening round of 4. Timmy Phillips, nice and tidy so far, nice and tidy slate in terms of his career, Richie, against Lee Hallett, who has got a very special milestone already looming into view, and there's no question at all that he wants to get there. This is professional fight number 91 for Hallett, and he always gives everything he's got.
Yeah, always gives everything he's got, and he's very difficult to actually stop, isn't he? I mean, he's had the 84 losses, but he's only been stopped twice, so, you know, he's a tough kid, and he'll give anyone who's up and coming a good workout and really introduce them to professional boxing. And Phillips, he's a good kid. He's 3-0, remember, so he's the up and coming boxer. So yes, this is a step up for him, I think, in against Lee Hallett, who's experienced. You know, he's seasoned, and he certainly knows his way around a boxing ring. He's very awkward.
Phillips is not rushing into this tonight, having a good look. Strikes me as a very thoughtful sort of fighter.
See, early on, Hallett being the southpaw here, if he's hitting and moving, it just makes it a little bit more difficult for Phillips. Phillips would prefer a slower target so he can just set up his right hand, and that's why he's popping out that jab, just to measure the distance and the target, and then he'll bring that right hand into play. But if the movement carries on from Hallett, then that becomes a more difficult thing to do, Paul. So if Hallett keeps hitting and moving, it could be a tricky night here for Phillips.
Phillips has really told all around him, management-wise, listen, I want to be tested. I don't want gimme fights to build me 10, 12, 15 wins as a pro. I want to be made to work, and Hallett might just be tailor-made for that role here this evening. And Hallett's keeping a decent tempo going in the first round, Richie.
Yeah, and just demonstrated there that a southpaw can be a little bit more vulnerable as he's coming forward onto that right hand. That's what he did there, did Hallett. Just walked forward, just took his eye off the ball slightly, and that wasn't a bad shot from Phillips.
Now then, I'm so pleased that we've got a special addition to the team here tonight. As I said, who could be more expertly placed to comment on any welterweight than one of our top men of the last decade, the former British and Commonwealth champion among many other title belts which Echo Esserman has won. And moreover, I'm watching Toomey Phillips and I'm thinking he's been watching Echo Esserman style-wise. What have you got to say about that?
You know what, just to add to what you were saying, he looked very calm, poised, confident, like a man of no fear. He's really going about setting about his distance before he's getting to work. I also noticed the insignia on the back of his shorts is a Ghanaian Adinkra symbol, translating as Giyami. That translates to English as Fear None Except God.
Quarters,
it looks like
10
he's going
seconds.
That way.
Fantastic, Echo. Thank you very much indeed for the insight. Lots
Seconds
more to
out.
come from Echo Esserman. Echo will
Round
be right
two.
through with us here at ringside to the main event, the English welterweight title. Defence tonight by Sean Noakes. But, guys, I know this is extremely early to say this. This Toomey Phillips has got a little bit of something about him, Richie, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. He's obviously well scored, nice fast jab, crisp shot, and that's what's setting up that right hand. And he's just, like I said, measuring that distance and gap. Bit of a wide stance, so like I say, he would prefer if Hallett just holds his feet and so he can trade with him. Generally, boxers with wide stances, Paul, that their rear hand has to travel that little bit further to the target so they can fall short occasionally. That's why they have to bring the opponent onto the shot or get him to hold his feet and so that he can trade with him. But yes, I like the look of Phillips. I like any boxer working behind that lead and that jab. That shows they've been well schooled. They're thinking about their boxing, setting up the distance work with that right hand there that he just threw to the body.
I will say that Lee Hallett is contributing mightily to the fair at the start of this card as well, because he is very busy indeed. He's in and out of range, Richie. He's not just trying to slide through these rounds. He's determined to try to make Toomey Phillips show us what he's got.
Yes, exactly, and he can be an awkward opponent if he's on the outside, you know, not coming forward as much. And like I say, that right hand then just got to travel a little bit further to get to him. And if he's moving away from Phillips, that's when Phillips, you know, a little bit of frustration may creep in. So it's important for Phillips to keep working with his lead hand to measure that distance and gap before he throws that backhand paw. But it's a positive start, I think, from Phillips overall. And Hallett, as we know him, he's awkward, he's seasoned, and he's playing his part here.
The output from Hallett, I don't think there's much in it in terms of actual shots thrown tonight. Not going to suggest so far he's been quite as accurate as Toomey Phillips, but he's trying to give him something to think about in every little facet.
Little bits of movement here, there with the head, you know, standing on each other's feet. That's what's going on, and the referee's going to say something here. Yeah, you go. He's picked it up. I spotted it, and and the referee did. So well done, ref.
Well done, Rocky Israel. That's a solid right hand.
Yeah,
he found the range perfectly, and Hallett was a little bit slower in that little exchange. Let's see now if Phillips can up the tempo and take it to Hallett properly for the first time.
Yeah, that was a quality shot, Paul. Much better shot there from Phillips. And again, working with that lead hand, setting things up. Hallett's felt the power there, hasn't he? He's gone back on that back foot now.
And still relatively cautious right to the end of this round, Toomey Phillips, having landed the best shot either way so far. More expert welterweight insight now from Echo Esserman.
Yeah, I like the way Toomey was shifting his weight over his front and his back foot, kind of lulling Lee into that false sense of distance. And he's stepping into his shots, especially following through with that right hand. And it was also notable that having his boots being stepped on did not deter him at all. He's beautifully calm in there.
It is uncanny to me. You know, there are so many aspects to his style which really do echo Esserman. I've got a whole list of other terrible jokes, incidentally, for later on the show tonight. There's an opener for you. But, you know, I truly do think, Echo, that he has been looking at you, looking at the way you've developed, and seen so much that he wants to emulate. And of course, that's the most sincere form of flattery, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's what you want, really. Everyone from the grassroots level building up.
But I want to see whether he's got the Echo Esserman engine.
Ooh,
because
that's trademark.
And that is
I doubt it.
I doubt it too, and that's from the feet up, isn't it? You come back to us on that maybe at the end of the next round. So the third round of 4 here, the welterweight opener tonight, and Lee Hallett has felt 1 or 2 in the exchanges at the end of the previous round and at the start of this round, and Echo Esserman suggested it, and Toomey Phillips is starting to just increase the pressure a little bit.
Yeah, starting to find his range now with that right hand, and that's mainly because Lee Hallett again has come forward a couple of times, or he's held his feet and he's an easier target to hit. The hit and move tactic that we've seen earlier from Hallett, you know, that proves that's a much more difficult opponent to box against. So that's what he's got to keep doing. Don't come over the front foot, just be awkward, plenty of head movement, to stay on the outside and try and nick the odd single shot here and there. That's all I think we can ask for from Lee Hallett. He's tough as they come, is Hallett. So he's playing his part, but it'll be interesting to see how Phillips works him out, works his jab, measures the distance, and brings that right hand into play. And there's a couple of good signs here from Phillips that, you know, he's working things out.
Yes, I agree with that, Richie. But then again, Hallett's seen it all in his now 91 pro career.
Yeah, he's tough. He's a tough kid, Hallett.
And a really good corner behind Lee Hallett this evening. The family firm of Greaves. Frank and Johnny are at ringside, helping manage Lee through these rounds tonight. Frank's really carving out a very fine reputation indeed. But I just want to make a special mention tonight, if I may, of Johnny Greaves. Richie and I have known him for so many years. He was an amazing professional, one of the true hard-working journeymen, the backbone of this business in Britain. And
Centurion.
Indeed, the Centurion Club, and Hallett actually wants to go one better and really annoy Johnny by doing 101. That's apparently that's the big plan. Still a little way short of that, actually, Richie. But in addition, if I may add, Johnny has an autobiography coming out. He's been writing this with Adam Dark over the last year or two. The great title, Bright Lights and Dark Corners, and it's a salutary tale, fascinating read. And it is available in April.
Brilliant title, isn't it?
Yeah, excellent.
Bright Lights and Dark Corners.
Well, it's a great insight into what a hard trade it really is.
Yeah, wealth of experience in that corner for Hallett. And like I say, he's playing his part. He's a tough journeyman. And he's giving Phillips things to work out. But what have I been impressed with Phillips this round, Paul? Lead left uppercut occasionally that he's been throwing. Awkward punch to throw and land, and he's landed it very well indeed.
I was expecting a little bit more from Phillips after the first 40 seconds of that round. Echo, what do you say?
Yeah, I would agree, but he is changing the shape of his right hand, which is making it awkward for Lee to defend against him. He's posing and throwing awkward shapes also to lull him out of his sense of security. He's throwing a good throwaway 1-2 in between the combinations to keep picking those points. I think, if anything, he's putting too much on some of the shots, and maybe he can just up the work rate and really squeeze him and turn the screw that way.
Here's 1 or 2 little pieces of his work from that round.
Yeah, that lead left uppercut, Echo, that was impressive, wasn't it?
Yeah. And the throwaway right hand after that.
Orders, 10 seconds.
He's got most of the shots, though, hasn't he, Echo?
Oh, yeah.
Seconds out.
I think it's a thing about learning when
for
to
the
use them
fourth
and
and final round.
Indeed. So this is the 4th of 4 rounds. Lee Hallett's job tonight, of course, is to hear the bell at the end of the round to complete professional fight number 91. It's only professional fight number 4 for Toomey Phillips, who's based in Chatham. A new addition to the welterweight rankings in England, and therefore, by extension, in GB. There's quite a buzzer about him, given that he was certainly a very impressive amateur in terms of talent. The phrase I heard used about him as an amateur, Richie, was that he tended to box to the level of the opposition. Now, that is not going to be enough in the programme, is it?
No, it isn't. But what it does probably suggest that he's probably got a lot more left in the tank.
Yes.
To use. But yeah, I mean, just let your shots go and enjoy your boxing. So, you know, he's in a different different ball game now, a different sport, really. Amateur boxing and professional boxing, totally different. And you have to prepare for them, I think, differently in the mindset, in the longer duration of the contest and things like that. So things will be different. But if you have got plenty left in the tank, well, that's a good sign, actually, Paul. But certainly in the pro game, in the pro ring, then yeah, you let it all out, mate.
He's 25 years of age, so the best years are certainly in front. I'm seeing lots and lots of fairly raw talent from Toomey Phillips.
Yeah,
here.
Raw talent and also a lot of speed there, and I like to see speed in a boxer, especially behind that jab and setting up the backhand. But yeah, there's some real nice signs from Phillips here. He's got a lot of talent and skill, and this is good from Hallett now, just taking it to him and just reminding him that he's in there with no pushover, who will literally give him a good fight and take him all the way here.
As you just said, Richie, professional boxing. Yeah. It's populated by people like Lee Hallett, who take great pride in their ability to be a proper nuisance.
Yeah, that's it.
And put manners on more talented, quote-unquote, opponents.
Yeah, very much so, Paul. Like I say, he's only been stopped twice in the 84 defeats that he's had, Lee Hallett, so he's as hard as nails. And, this will be a good learning fight for Phillips, most certainly.
Little sign of Lee Hallett being in any trouble whatsoever in this fight.
Well, himself, he's well schooled and he's learnt that art of defending, hasn't he, in the pro game. Elbows tucked in nice, good guard, see, straight away, he knows something's coming back. Now he's getting up close to Phillips to try and smother his work. So he's a real well-educated journeyman, knows his game, knows the trade.
From nearby Canning Town in the East End of London, Lee Hallett. He won't very often be in the other corner as the star fighter. It's his home venue, always fighting in the away corner, always giving rounds and giving the opponent something to think about, and he's done that again tonight. Toomey Phillips. Echo, I'll come to you for an immediate reaction, and then perhaps a bit later when we get the verdict, we'll have more chance to break him down. What did you think of that tonight?
I thought that was really great. I took note of that comment made about boxing to the level of his opposition. I think he'll learn that in the pros you have to box out of your shell, really just come out of withholding yourself. Even myself, I'm a very aggressive fighter, but I've learned to control that, and that's how you can kind of set matches about the way you want them to go. You have to and also you have to remember to learn with these matches against said journeymen, because they do help you learn a few tricks of the trade along your journey.
And of course it's going to be a long journey if he's going to become a 12-round championship fighter. There are lots of people who believe he's capable, incidentally, up the road of going that far, and he has given a fair demonstration of the skill set, Toomey Phillips, here this evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, your referee scores the contest 40 points to 36. The winner in the blue corner from Chatham, Kent, Toomey Phillips. And please, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for the brave and gallant Lee Hallett.
It's part of the bargain for this show tonight here on Box Nation YouTube's channel. That's our opener in the can. Why don't you sum it up for us as one of Britain's welterweight stars at the moment?
Yeah. I think he was a brilliant, elusive fighter, getting off his shots when he needed to, and he, as was mentioned, you saw the speed in there as well, and it was just beautiful to watch, really. I'd like to see how he progresses along his career.
I will second that, Echo. Thank you very much indeed. We're delighted to have you with us for the evening. Do please stay, because you're a very important part of the show tonight. More from myself and Richie in a moment or two. Let's hand it over now to Ollie and first to Dev.
Thank you, Paul. Well, I knew I could hear an echo in here. It's good to have Echo Esserman on commentary tonight. I think he's been very insightful, and it's good that he seemed to be looking at someone who's a bit like him.
Yeah, great stuff on commentary from Echo. I was looking at that fight, though, from Toomey. you know, when the neutrals watch an event like this and they see a fighter in there against someone with a losing record, they automatically assume it's going to be an easy night for him. But as we just saw there, they're some of the toughest fights sometimes. Yeah. Over 90 fights Hallett's had in the ring, and you could see tonight that the longer the fight went on, the more Toomey become a little bit hesitant. Now I'm not criticising him. I'm sure he'll go a long way in the sport. But you can see for the first time tonight, when he was tested a little bit, it's that first little learning curve for him. I think important matchup for him. I'm glad he got the win, but definitely walked away from that with things to work on.
Listen, this is why they have these fights. This is why the likes of Lee Hallett exist on the circuit. I mean, Lee Hallett, I remember him beating Harley Benn. Every now and again, he'll pop up and he'll win a fight. They bring you on, they bring you that experience, and if they really fancy it, they can pull off the upset. But let's look at the wider card tonight. I mean, I feel like it would be a bit of an upset if Sean Noakes was to lose his English welterweight title to Jermaine Osbourne-Edwards. Osbourne-Edwards coming off that loss to Ethan James. Sean Noakes should come through, but nights like this, arenas like this, the pressure of being the main event for the first time, you just never know, Ollie.
And you just hit the nail on the head. You know, we know Sean Noakes' ability. That's not in question. But the question mark is, and again, going back to what we were saying earlier about almost a check sheet for fighters, tonight he's in the spotlight. He's the main event. That adds extra pressure in itself. So can he put his ability together with overcoming the pressure of what he's going to go through tonight? He comes through this. Again, we know then he's ready for the next stage. I expect Sean to get the win, but again, taking nothing for granted.
Well, next up will be Orient's Lungu. It'll be a female fight. She'll be taking on Vad Missio Katie. And we're expecting to, hey, should she come through that, we may even announce her next fight tonight. So stay tuned for that. I've been told to be ready and maybe try and stir a few things up. But I'm looking forward to that. And it should be fun. Good to have a good female fight on here as well.
Yeah, it's important. I mean, going back to the first Box Nation show we did in Liverpool, obviously we had Hannah Rankin headlining. Result didn't go her way that night. But listen, it's massively important. Someone we're closely associated with, Raven Chapman. She's fighting tonight as well. British title opportunity for her. Female boxing still continues to rise and rise and rise. We're always very, very proud to have the female fights on our card. Tonight should be an absolute cracker. Again, same kind of situation for Orient's. A few fights into her career. Again tonight. Now she's live on Box Nation, another check sheet. Let's see if she can come through that and deal with the pressure of the cameras and the lights.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by this Orient's Lungu story as well. She's built up a bit of an audience from outside of boxing too. I've seen little Channel 4 shorts. There's been all sorts of things going on. And the way she got into boxing, my understanding, she went to university, wanted to stay fit a little bit, did a bit of boxing. She was going to uni to do a proper degree, ended up having to tell her mum, do you know what? I'm just going to do the boxing now. Didn't go down too well.
But I'm sure it's going down well now. I'm sure the family is sitting at home watching her tonight, proud as anything. But listen, that's why we love boxing, don't we? We're not just talking about Orients, we're talking about Mitchell Smith tonight as well, the story behind here. If you look at every fighter on the card tonight, you'll probably see a story like that. So yeah, going back to Orients, fantastic story for her, and I'm really hoping she puts on a good show tonight. And we might see an announcement after that, depending on how the result goes too.
Well, stay tuned. Let's head over to your MC, Mark Burtis.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome into the ring from Lithuania, Vaida Masukaitė.
So the two women boxers in our lightweight feature. The Lithuanian coming out here first, Vaida Masukaitė. I'll be honest about it, folks, both of them have left it slightly late to make a massive impact on the game at the top level. In the case of Vaida, already 37 years of age, but she has been busy and very hard working.
And please welcome into the ring from Hackney, London, Orient's Lungu.
Orient's Lungu is 3 years younger, but for her it's only a third professional fight tonight. So she has certainly got time against her and not much time to make a very big impression, but there's a good solid grounding at one of the best amateur clubs in Great Britain, and an amateur club, moreover, Haringey Police, who have specialised in producing women boxers in particular, who've had great success at the very top.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next bout this evening is a 6 2-minute rounds international contest in the welterweight division. Firstly, fighting out of the red corner with a record of 10 wins, won by way of KO, 27 losses and 6 draws, weighing in 142 pounds 9 ounces, and tonight she wears the black shorts. Please welcome from Lithuania, Vaida Masukaitė. And moving across into the blue corner, unbeaten with 2 wins from 2, weighing in 142 pounds 8 ounces, and tonight she wears the grey shorts with gold trim. Please welcome from Hackney, London, Orient Lungu. Your referee in charge is Mr. Rocky Israel, who will now give his final instructions to both boxers.
Protect yourself and obey my command at all times. When I say stop boxing, step back, yeah? Touch gloves and good luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, 6 2-minute rounds.
For the first round.
So 6 2-minute rounds at welterweight. There was a little bit of a debate over which division it should be, but I think the weights, as reported by Mark Burtis, confirm it is at welter, this women's contest between Orientse Lungu in the white and the much more experienced Vaida Masukaitė, the Lithuanian. And Lungu has a couple of pro victories to start out her career. Great opportunity here tonight, Richie, on a platform like this to spread the word very, very quickly that she's a fighter to keep an eye on, I think.
Yeah, I think she is. What I've just seen of her there with that jab, that's a lovely shot there. Time and again she's thrown that early on in this contest so far, so she's working well with that punch. She's in against an experienced Lithuanian boxer here, Masukaitė. But Lungu, yeah, I like what I see here. Good boxing technique, working well behind her lead hand, and yeah, this is it's quite a bright start from her, I think.
The opponent, Masukaitė, with 27 defeats, and she's very open, actually, Richie, isn't she?
Yeah, she's just drops her left hand a little bit, does Masukaitė. But Lungu, like I said, working behind that jab, she's boxing well. So you see the Lithuanian boxer there just dropping that lead hand, so she's just inviting either the jab or the right hand over the top. That's what she'll have to watch out for if Lungu just starts to throw that punch. But nevertheless, I think it's a positive start from Lungu with that lead hand. Yeah, good stuff from her. There's that right hand we've just been speaking about, Paul.
It's her go-to combination, isn't it? And it's already made a mark on this fight. She's got a few fans in the hall here tonight already as well, still in the very early stages of his career. Eko Esserman, welterweight star in his own right. What have you made of that opening round, Eko?
Oh, it was good to watch. Orient's got stuck in straight away, and as Richie said, she has a beautiful jab. She pushes through off her back foot, really getting momentum behind it. And I saw her throw a couple stab jabs, meaning stabbing the air away from her opponent's stomach, to steal the air further along in the match. She's going to start to tire as a result of that. Masio also looks a bit too relaxed in her guard, and as you mentioned, that leaves her open to being caught by the backhand.
These are 2-minute rounds.
Quarters, 10 seconds. Seconds out. Round 2.
Jumping out of the corner, grabbing the centre of the ring. There's lots of the elements to like in the personality, if I could put it like that, of Lungu, the young professional boxer. Not young in age, I say that with every respect. 34 years of age, certainly has little time to waste. She's not wasting any time at all in this fight, Rich, is she?
I think she's got a bit of natural talent, hasn't she, Lungu, there? Little bits of the head movements side to side, and I think she puts her shots together quite well, working behind that jab. She's looking for that right hand also. And I think the corner may have said something to her about her opponent's very low lead hand. And there's that right hand again, right on cue. So I think she's boxing well.
I also fancy, Rich, that she's got a little bit of pep in that right hand as well.
And look at that, just thinking about the defence there, that just simple block and parry with her right glove there as the opponent throws out the jab. See, Massiokate just can't seem to get close enough to land the shots. So the quality of the punching is much better from Lungu.
Pressure seems to me to be the key weapon from Orianse Lungu, and making Massiokate fight at a tempo which is ever so slightly uncomfortable to her.
Yeah, and not only that, Massiokate just can't seem to hit the target really. Look, she's hitting gloves, she's hitting arms, nothing's really getting through. So you've got to give credit to Lungu. You know, she's playing peekaboo style sometimes, just looking through a guard and just waiting for the opportunities and the openings, and she's getting through with the better shots.
Yeah, very accurate.
Yeah, lovely.
Lots of nice little half steps to give herself an angle and to put Massiokate just slightly off balance. There are lots of little nuances to the technique which demonstrate one thing. There's a really powerful backstory which we'll get to a little bit later. Over to you, Echo.
Yeah, Lungu's energy is great. She has a beautiful 1-2 that she's been setting up in that last round. And she should be looking to catch and counter off that great use of her guard that she has.
Love that phrase, catch and counter. Elaborate, please.
So obviously you mentioned how when her opponent throws that jab, she just blocks it with her right hand. She should let a jab off of her own or a hook, or mix things up. Catch it with that right hand, send the right hand back.
Thank you very much, Echo Esserman. The rounds come around very quickly indeed. 6 2-minute rounds.
10 seconds.
These flights tend to
Seconds
fly by.
out.
Already
Round
approaching the
3.
halfway stage. A very eye-catching opening from Orianse Lungu through the first third of this fight. Dare I say, Richie, there are touches of Cindy and Gangpa about the way this Orianse Lungu fights. And Gangpa became one of the stars of the Olympic Games, fighting under the neutral flag, of course, but you and Robert McCracken at Team GB Amateurs played such a huge part preparing her for the Games. She was one of the refugee entrants, and she completely stole the show in Paris at the Olympics. I feel like I'm looking at her in some ways.
Very much so, similar style to Cindy and Gamba, who was a revelation, I thought, in the Olympics, and really boxed well, fast, the tempo, high work rate, and well schooled as well. And I think Lungu does definitely have the look of Cindy and Gamba with the way she boxes. And then Cindy, tremendous boxer indeed, and like I say, boxes at a real fast tempo. But I like what I see here from Lungu. I really do, because she's setting things up again behind that jab. She's thinking about her boxing. She's thinking about her defence. Look, in and out, nice timing. So she's got a bit of natural talent, most definitely. And yeah, she's one to watch out for.
Shouts at me, Richie, that the more she can apply the pressure, the better she looks, and that might be the style for her to develop now she is among the professionals.
I think what she's shown as well, Paul, when Massiokate is throwing shots, look, missing with punches. You watch Lungu, she's looking for the opening, she comes back with fast counters. So there you go, she's in and out with the feet there to the body, which is good. She's thinking about her defence. And I think she's got, like I say, that's natural talent, that is. And I think that obviously her coach has done a good job with her, but I really like what I see. It's a nice boxing style that she's got.
No doubting the willpower of Massiokate and the output, but not many of those jabs are more than tentative prods. They're not landing with any sort of bad intentions whatsoever. Echo, over to you.
In the opening few seconds of that round, Orient's landed a beautiful left hook. It seemed to rattle her opponent a bit, but her opponent came on indeed, and she used her feet beautifully, as Richie mentioned, just going in and out and letting off little pot shots and accumulating her points throughout the round. It's beautiful boxing to watch.
It's hard to break up her rhythm, isn't it?
Yeah, she seems to get into her energy flow and her rhythm, and it seems it's a great one.
I think the crowd, which are beginning to filter in here
Corners,
at the York
10
Green,
seconds.
really like what they're seeing from Orientse Lungu.
Seconds out. Round 4.
So into the second half of this scheduled 6-rounder. The backstory with Lungu that I referred to really revolves around the Haringey Police Amateur Boxing Club. Very great name, of course, the Haringey Box Cup, one of the most important amateur competitions in British boxing. And they've done a really strong line in developing women boxers over the last 3-4 decades. Terry Kelly working behind the scenes to get women's boxing recognised by the ABA in 1997. That was the first big step. She joined Haringey a few years after that, I understand, as a coach and a judge.
Yeah, Haringey's a terrific club, isn't it? You know, it produces great boxers, real good fighters from schoolboys right through to seniors and girls. And look at this, that was a lovely shot. Lungu's actually shown something else in this round. She's been getting the right hand counter, the timing of it. There it is again, look, as the opponent's coming forward, right on cue. She's thrown it 4 or 5 times. Every time she's thrown it, it's hit the target. Lovely timing, looking for the mistakes made by her opponent, who's coming too much over the front foot. And again, right hand over the top, and then she just comes out to the side. So again, she just upped it a little bit and just showed us something different. Those single right hand counters, the timing is spot on.
It's a little glimpse of a big talent very clearly tonight here, Orientse Lungu. I just want to say one thing to the credit of Masi Okate. There'll be a lot of fighters, Richie, at this stage who would have just put the chin in there and said, right, I'll tighten it up. I'll try not to look too bad in losing. Oh. She's got a different approach tonight, and she's helping make Lungu look good.
Absolutely, she's tough, you know. I don't think she's won a round, really, but she's trying to win every round, Paul. That's the difference. She's really going for it, but it's just the quality of her shots just aren't as good as Lungu. Another good round.
Crowd are really getting into this tonight here. And I think you are too, Echo.
Yeah, it's great to watch. Masio definitely tried to turn up the heat in that round, but Lungu took the pressure and handled it really well. Obviously, getting those small pockets of opportunities to get off that counter right hand, which was just landing at will, as it seemed. And she has a good judgment of her distance. You can tell that with her feet.
Do you think she's starting to enjoy it in there tonight?
Yeah, I think definitely, especially with some of those counters. You could tell her adding a little bit of flair and poses in there to throw off her opponent.
Corners, 10 seconds.
She can't wait to get started.
Seconds
She's
out.
halfway across the ring already behind the referee's back.
Round
there.
5.
So Masukate better be ready for what comes next. As game as she is, Vado Masukate, it's been hard going for her.
Yeah, she's just found it a little bit difficult to actually catch Lungu, who's got good movement, natural rhythm, which is excellent from her, side to side with the head. She's in and out with the feet, so she's difficult to actually nail with the shot. There's an example. So Masio Okate is trying to close the gap down, fall short with the punches, and the quality of the shots aren't really good. She's not connecting with the knuckle part of the gloves, and like I say, she's missing the target time and again. Although her output is good, volume's there, but there's not a lot actually penetrating and getting through to Lungu.
The more I'm watching of this Orientse Lungu, Richie, the more I'm liking her, actually.
She's growing into the contest, Paul, and I think she is really enjoying it, and this sort of opponent certainly suits her. She's controlling the pace, And there's that right hand again. Now, what Masiokate's got to do a little bit more of, Paul, is just move off to her right a little bit more. She keeps drifting round to the left with a low lead hand, and that's the recipe to walk onto that right hand, right on cue again. So she's got to step off more to her right and go away from that shot.
There's a decent left counter at the end of that little passage by Masiokate. It's a good reset by Lungu as well after. He's hardly had to step in once, Rocky Israel, but does so there. Last 20 seconds of round 5.
I think she actually prefers Masiokate to come forward, Paul.
Absolutely.
Because she's whipping her onto that right hand especially. But yeah, it's a decent contest, isn't it? Because Masiokate is really going for it. You've got to give her great credit for the effort that she's put in also.
Indeed. As game as they come, but technical shortcomings, starting from that jab of the girl in the red corner. It's too tentative, and as a consequence, open for those forays like that. Echo.
Yeah, I think Orience was definitely coming into her own in that round. She had a little, I think she could probably do with a little more investment in her body shots just to slow down her opponent. But saying that, I could see her really enjoying herself, smiling as Masio missed a couple of punches, and really, as you both mentioned, getting off her shots of her own. You know that saying, make them miss, make them pay. She's definitely doing that.
And she's making a fairly big impression here tonight. The
Corners, 10 seconds.
Fight fans, live on Box Nation's YouTube channel.
Seconds out for the 6th and final
Everybody gets a
round.
medal on a Friday for making their way through rush hour London to be here, by the way.
Absolutely, Paul. What a terrible time getting in here, but I'm glad I'm here now. Because I love the York Hall, Paul.
Yeah,
it's
brilliant.
Steeped in history. It's my favourite venue. It's a fantastic venue, it really is. Favourite small hall venue, should I say.
You both fought here, did you not?
No, I didn't fight
did you
here,
not,
Paul.
Richie?
No.
I'm sure you did.
One of my
Echo,
biggest
did you?
regrets.
Oh yeah, I've
You
fought,
did, yeah.
Yeah, of all the places I would have liked to have fought, it would have been New York or it's just fantastic place, isn't it? Cafe over the road. A bite to eat beforehand.
The apple pie and custard is mine, Richie. All mine. Okay?
Yeah.
I just want to make that very clear.
Yeah, absolutely. But the people here,
Yeah,
you know,
brilliant.
they're boxing through and through. It's a great atmosphere.
To the very end, as game as anything, Masukate.
She's played her part, Paul. You know, she's tough as they come, just keeps coming, and just the quality of the work from Lungu has been the difference. Lovely all-round boxer, natural talent, I think, and yeah, I really think she could go places. But it's been a competitive contest because Masiokate has really played her part, but just fallen short too many times. And Lungu, like I say, has had that quality in her work, and yeah, she's the boxer that seems to be going places. Very good, very impressed.
There might be a case for saying that this has been a closer round than the others, actually, Richie.
Well, definitely Masiokate has sort of matched Lungu, hasn't she, for the work. But like I say, it's just the quality of the shot from Lungu. Always catches your eye, Paul.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
There's a big right hand somewhere in there, right on the bell. The bell which ends 6 very hard rounds indeed for Vida Masakate under pressure from a very talented newcomer, I must say, Oriansa Lungu, who has surely made it 3 pro wins out of 3. And we mentioned the amateur background a while ago from that Harrogate Police amateur boxing club. Along the way over the years, stars like Hannah Bahari, who is a 2-year, I believe, women's ABA champion, 2007 and 8, if I'm right about that, 48 kilogram class. And of course, more recently, Nicola Adams was attached to Harrogate Police ABC. They might have found another one in Orianse Lungu. But well done to Masakate, a very honest effort indeed.
Ladies and gentlemen, your referee scores the contest 60 points to 54. The winner in the blue corner from Hackney, London, Orients Lungu. And ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for the brave gallant.
I think she's won.
Vaida Masukaiti
here tonight, Orients Lungu. Very exciting new face on the scene. Echo Esserman.
Yeah, definitely. She has a great energy. In that last round, she had good head movement, quick feet, and it was a bit of a closer round, but I think she was just enjoying it a bit more. She was catching those shots, those catch counters, and she was just getting stuck in, really. It was good to watch.
Any final word from you on that, Richie?
I think it was a great overall performance against quite a strong opponent that pushed her in every round. But yeah, I thought she was she won every round, Lungu. The quality was there, and yeah, I can't wait to see her again because I think she could go places, and she's definitely a talent. Very good, very impressed indeed.
So we're really getting into the meat of the show after Tumi Phillips opened at welterweight, followed in the same division by Orients Lungu. Let's hand it back to the studio.
Okay, Orients Lungu, 3 fights, 3 wins. You seem pretty happy. Did you enjoy that tonight?
I did enjoy it, but there are definitely things I need to work on, so we'll be back in the gym on Monday fixing those things. But I'm happy to be back at York Hall in front of all these people, so thank you for coming down. Yeah, I'm happy. 3 fights in less than 5 months, so I'm happy.
Your support is crazy, and you're only 3 fights in. Where have all these fans come from?
They come from East London! No, my support's always been amazing, and honestly, it helps pick me up during fights, so I really, really appreciate everybody's come down to support me.
Listen, you won every round tonight, and I love that. You're coming here in this interview, you're like, there's stuff I need to work on. Despite you winning every round against a tough opponent who's been in with the best.
Yeah, I mean, I knew coming in that she was very, very tough, very durable. She's been in against Natasha Jonas, Carrie Santos-Thor, so I knew that she was experienced. But I think for me, it's a perfect fight to have because it's something that's going to help me develop and keep learning.
I'll tell you, there's nothing ordinary about Orients. Let me say that. I've heard that your next opponent is actually all scheduled, and I've actually heard that she's here tonight. Zoe Hunt-Smith will be taking you on March 29th in Gibraltar. Let's bring her in. Let's have a little chat. See anything to concern you tonight?
No concerns as such. You know, it's business. We're here. Get the job done.
Good performance?
Good performance. You know, she's still on her way. She's still learning. You literally learn on the job in this game. So, yeah, good performance against a good opponent. So, let's see how we go March 29th.
How are we going to go on March 29th? What are you expecting?
I'm expecting the best Orients to come, but I hope she's ready to be dragged into deep waters. You know, like I said, it's business, but I'm here to do a job, and I believe I'll get the job done.
Here's your right of response. This is your next opponent. Anything you want to say? She believes she's going to get the job done.
I mean, everybody does. I mean, Zoe's a really, really tough opponent. She's very durable. We sparred together, and so I know that she's tough, and obviously it's for the next fight. She's going to be ready for it, and I expect her to be ready for it, but so will I.
Title on the line as well. Commonwealth silver title will mean a lot. Progress both of you. How much would it mean to win that belt?
For me, you know, like it's been a long time coming. I deserve to be here. I just deserve to be in title contingency, and I believe, you know, the fight with me and Orients, I believe it'll be a great fight, it'll be a great title fight. It'll be probably one of the best of the year.
Let's get a face-off. Come on. Thank you, Orients Lungu. Big fight coming up March 29th. Back to Ollie in the studio.
Thank you, Dev. Orients Lungu. Huge victory here tonight at York Hall, and already matched for March the 29th, Box Nation in Gibraltar, the first of our Gibraltar series. I am here with Elliot Elamasi, Mr. Main Event. How are you, sir?
You know, I could be better, but I'm here in York Hall. I'm watching the fights. I'm supposed to be in this fight, but soon. I know everyone's waiting for me to fight. It's going to be worth the wait.
So, before we talk about you, let's talk about Orient's Lungu. I know you're watching that fight, flying the flag for female boxing. What did you make of it?
Her punch selection was perfect, like her accuracy perfect. So sniffing shots and coming with overhands. She's talented. She wants to look out for. I'm looking forward to her next fight. It's a great fight.
So, talking about you, Mr. Main Event, you were supposed to be on this card tonight, as you said. Bit of an issue with your opponent, that's boxing, right? But you're left again looking for fight number 2.
Fight number 2, I have to say for him, because all of this weight, I'm just itching to go now. So these opponents need to be ready for me, because after the next one's gone, it's going to be even harder to match up again, because it's going to be another stoppage, another win. I'm ready.
Elliot Allen Massey, we will see you on a Box Nation card very, very soon. We're going to throw back to our MC, Mark Burdis.
Ladies and gentlemen, into the ring, please welcome from Belarus, by way of Kazakhstan, Viktor Shvako.
Here's another man who's had an interesting week, Viktor Shvako. All set to go. And was probably making plans for a different opponent. It happens. He knows his way around. Approaching the veteran stage. Well, he is at the veteran stage. Soon enough, he'll be 40 years of age. 26th pro fight tonight. A Belarusian, now based in Warsaw in Poland. And he can move with it, that's for sure. And he's been a very frequent visitor to the York Hall and other famous small hall venues in Britain. Fought Tommy Fletcher here in May of 2024. Big lad.
And please welcome from West London, Tino Bellot.
So West Londoner from another of the leading amateur clubs in Great Britain, ABC Dale Youth. Very much a West London stronghold, but he's got lots of supporters who've made the trip across town. Tino Bellot, and it is his second pro outing, having turned pro not many weeks ago here, 7 weeks ago to be precise, at the York Hall in a 4-round stoppage victory against.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next bout this evening is a 4 3-minute rounds contest in the cruiserweight division. Fighting out of the red corner with 5 wins, 3 by way of knockout and 20 losses to his name, weighing in 201 pounds 4 ounces, and tonight he wears the black shorts with gold trim. Please welcome from Belarus, by way of Kazakhstan, Viktor Shvako. And moving across into the blue corner, unbeaten with 1 win from 1 with a knockout, weighing in 205 pounds, and tonight he wears the grey shorts with the black and white trim. From West London, please welcome Tino Bellot. Your referee is Lewis Van Pooch, who now give his final instructions to both boxers.
Okay, chaps, you're both professionals, you both know the rules, you both know what I expect. When I say break or stop, break clean and take a full step back, but above all, protect yourself at all times. Touch gloves.
Ladies and gentlemen, 4 3-minute rounds.
For the first round.
At cruiserweight then, 4 rounds. A newcomer in the pro game, Tino Bellot from the West London area, back over here in the East End of London at the York Hall Bethnal Green for the second time in 7 weeks. And he's in against a very experienced Eastern European, Viktor Shivako. Shivako is a very tall man indeed and was able to step over the top rope on his way to the ring. Certainly enjoyed the moment on his way to the ring here. A little bit of a boogie to the disco music before he decided to walk out. It's often said on nights like this, Richie, that the opponent looks like he can box a little bit, but we don't know what happens when he gets clipped.
No, we don't, and but looking at his record, he's not really a big puncher either. You get a lot of Belarusian boxers and boxers from Kazakhstan, very well-schooled fighters indeed. The way they brought up through the amateur ranks especially, tough amateur careers, but they're all well-schooled boxers. And here, I think we've got one here in Shivako, who... he seems well-schooled, Paul, but he probably lacks just a little bit of power. But we know he's tough. He's only been stopped 3 times in all the defeats that he's had, the 20. So he's well-schooled, tough kid, and can take a good shot also. So this will be a good test for Belot, who at 22, he's the prospect. And we're hearing good things about him, 1-0 with 1 knockout at the moment. So this is a little bit of a step up in his second contest. But he's in against... a non-puncher really, and that was an example. So 2 punches there just bounced off Belot there.
That was just a little reminder that Belot does need to be careful nonetheless. As good a mover as he clearly is.
So that's nice there from Belot, just setting things up with the jab. And then decides to go downstairs. He's just got to throw a few more punches here and just get into this one a little bit more.
I think he was a little surprised to be on the receiving end halfway through this round, Richie.
Probably was, yeah.
The shapes are good. There's a natural athlete in there very clearly.
Yeah, he looks. He does look a natural athlete, doesn't he? No question.
He spent a lot of this round following Shivako around. Shivako's made him reach quite cleverly for a lot of this opening round. Speaking of natural athletes, in addition to the one and only Richie Woodall, the man joining us in commentary duty tonight, Eko Esserman, the former British and Commonwealth welterweight champion. There were a few better athletes in the game in Britain than you. What do you make of the raw material here with Belot?
I think Tino took his time to assess what was in front of him to begin with, but then you started to see the little bits of flair coming out of him, and when he started walking down his opponent, you could see he was really trying to set about his shots. Like with me, it was something that I learned at probably the stage that he's at. Sometimes that aggression needs to be controlled. Sometimes just being stood in front of your opponent will draw out the shots that you want to counter, and it takes some learning.
Corners, 10 seconds.
Just very quickly, did you have that mindset always?
Seconds
I need
out.
to be the boss in these early pro fights.
I'm always
2.
the boss. I'm always thinking that.
Okay. Belot seeks to be the boss here tonight. Grabs the centre of the ring. Let's see, as Richie's pointed out, whether he can really make that jab his best friend in this fight and Shivako's worst nightmare. Some of the angles are good, Richie, aren't they?
Yeah,
following that.
He's got a bit of natural skill, hasn't he? But in that opening round, he just fell short with his punches occasionally. So he's got to use that lead hand and lead foot just to measure that gap and distance a little bit better, and then let the shots go. So he needs to throw more punches. He's quite eager on that front foot coming forward, but he's got to throw more punches to match that front foot as well. You see, just to measure that distance and then bring that right hand into play. So he's falling short there. That was an example, just falling short. So he's got to set it up with the lead hand a little bit better.
Crowd who would like to see him bring his best to bear and see what impact that does have on Shivako. In terms of impact, bigger picture here, Richie, and we're speaking so much about the extraordinary revolution in professional boxing, the untold riches, the opportunity now for the fights that the world craves among the best of the best in world boxing. It's all happening, a lot of it surrounded by the embrace of Saudi Arabia's interest in the game. But at all levels, that has opened up opportunity. And so even somebody like Victor Sharku comes here tonight, surely saying to himself, if I can give a guy rounds, if I can look like I'm a competent operator, there are going to be more and more pieces of work on offer to me.
Yeah, both boxers are in the shop window, aren't they?
Yeah.
Bellot obviously is the more talented boxer and will look for, you know, he wants to get on those Saudi shows. But at the same time, Shraku, you know, like you said, Paul, if you can show people that, you know, he's a really decent opponent, who's a decent boxer, and who can be stubborn and awkward and is difficult to get to, then yes, you know, he may get the phone call that can change his life with the money that they're starting to pay now. Opportunities for everyone.
It's
Paul.
amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
What a wonderful time to be involved in this famous, historic old sport, a new era. So much of it generated top down, of course.
Good little move that was from Shraku there, Paul. He just smothered Bellot. Bellot was just looking for that left hook to the body, and before he could throw, he just stepped in and closed him down. Just showed his experience there, Shraku. So missed with the right hand there, but got him with the left. Did Bellot. Just got to get a little bit closer to land that backhand. But some nice signs from him. Just got to steady up a little bit and just throw more jabs, really. That's what he's got to do. But yeah, a couple of decent signs here from Bellot.
Shraku wasn't quite so comfortable in this second round under the pressure. One or two moments of success for Bellot, but he's got a puzzle to solve all the same. Echo, over to you.
Yeah, I think at the beginning of that round, Tino needed to remember that Victor is quite fast-handed, and I think there was a bit of tit-for-tat boxing, like you go, I go, you go, I go. I think both of them, or Tino respectively, needs to find those gaps in between the rhythm to get the shots off of his own so that he can match him, and that's when you'll really start to set him, put Victor on the back foot. However, Tino had some great uses of framing. When they were close together, he'd use his forearm on the shoulder of his opponent, frame him into a good line or angle for the position to let off some of his shots. And it was good to see he's starting to come into the match and let
Corners,
some of the shots go,
10
especially
seconds.
that right hand that missed, followed with the left hook.
Seconds out.
Terrific,
Round
Anno. Thank you very
three.
much indeed. So, 2 rounds gone. Shraku more than living up to his end of the bargain here tonight. All eyes, really, on Tino Bellot. Only a second pro fight. We shouldn't heap too much expectation on his shoulders.
No, not at all. You know, like you said, Paul, second pro contest against an experienced campaigner, really. And at the moment, he's boxing well, Bellot. You can see that he's got natural talent. He's got to set up these attacks now with behind his jab. But yeah, he's a naturally talented boxer. Some nice movement, nice rhythm about his work, but he's just got to just got to throw a few more shots.
To me, Richie, watching this, it will explain the difference to a young pro like Tino Bellot between sparring and the night of the fight very well indeed, because this could be a Monday morning sparring against a guy like Shraku. That he could make an alternative living as a sparring partner, could Shraku. But you know, the gloves, the lights, no head guards, potentially a few quid for winning. Different story, isn't it?
Yeah, different environment really, Paul. Earlier there, Bellot just threw a lovely right up on the inside, cracking punch, best shot of the round so far. Natural talent that he's got. But yes, you're quite right. Shraku could probably make a lot of money on the sparring circuit, but it is differently with the bright lights, the smaller gloves, and on fight night, the contest situation, as I call it, it's totally different to sparring, really.
And in this new era, from Riyadh season downward, there's just that little bit of energy and excitement around these shows these days. That's the impact that's been made by Saudi Arabia, led of course by Turki Al-Sheikh, His Excellency.
Who I think, Paul, has been great for boxing, you know, because
absolutely,
since he's been involved, the fights that everyone wants to see are happening. It's fantastic for the sport what Turki Alashika has done, and long may that continue, because it's great for the fans. You're seeing fights. Everyone is seeing the best against the best, and that's all we want.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's tremendous. It really is.
We've craved it for so long, but I think His Excellency's actions have had an effect all the way through the boxing environment. Belot has taken 1 or 2 in this round again, and Shvarku now does want to work him over a little bit. As I mentioned, he is a big unit. Brought his weight to bear on Belot for a moment there.
Yeah, he's proven awkward, isn't he, staying on the outside, and he's just trying to keep Belot at bay with the odd jab here and there. But you can see the natural talent in Belot, and you're always looking for a shot that's coming from him, really.
As you may have spotted on the other side of the ring, Johnny Greaves, I mentioned a while ago tonight, is now hander upper in the home corner. Echo, how are you seeing it?
I'm seeing it good. I think Tino had a great round of showing his accuracy in there, and he could probably do with just ramping it up, adding that little bit more flair that you can obviously see that he has. I mean, at the end of the round, he switched stance into southpaw. I thought I was going to see a backhand left.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of flair, everyone wants to show their flair to get on the Saudi cards, obviously, and it's definitely a great motivator for boxers straight from grassroots level all the way up to above me to world level. Really.
Josh Padley is the ultimate
Seconds
example,
out.
isn't it?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
For the 4th and final round.
So the 4th and final round. Echo Esserman's own story is by no means over, incidentally. We're going to talk a little later with Echo about a brilliant fight we are hearing in the works for him in a couple of months. Let's just play this one out at cruiserweight with Tino Belot. A sharp, talented young boxer, fresh from the Dale Youth Amateur Boxing Club background. A gnarled, older pro against Victor Shvarku tonight.
Yeah, so he's just got to watch here that Shvarku is just trying to get up close a few times, just smother him. So he's got to watch out for that, and maybe take the odd back step, Paul, and just adjust his feet and bring him onto the shots. So Shvarku's doing a good job in that he's closing that gap down, smothering Belot's work. So Belot now has just got to keep working well with that jab, and occasionally just adjust your feet and bring him onto the shots. That's what he's got to do. But this is good stuff now from Belot. Changing to southpaw, so showing his natural skill and talent. Yeah, I like what I see.
Yeah, he's thought about it. And the tempo, the gear shift a little bit makes him look more impressive to me.
And that's what Echo was talking about earlier, that he should be going through those gears, and quite rightly so. And yeah, Echo's right. He's looking good here now because he has gone through those gears a little bit more.
We believe he is winning it, but I believe that the benefit of this is not going to be felt when he hears the bell. It's when he starts to look it over again, maybe as soon as next week, Richie, because what he's also doing is gathering in all the experience that Shvarku's had, just even in fighting in the UK over the last 2 or 3 years. Tommy Fletcher, Arlo Stevens, he fought Callum Johnson twice, actually,
yeah.
I believe.
Tommy Walsh in his last contest in February,
yeah.
On February the 15th. So yeah, he's an experienced campaigner. Only been stopped 3 times as well, remember, Paul. So he's as tough as they come, and it's a decent opponent. And again, a prospect like Belot, it's a good workout for him.
So early in his career, yeah.
Definitely.
He's had to think and he's had to work.
Oh, there's a cut. I think there's a cut on his left eye, you know.
There
Belot.
is, Richie. I think it's too late to be having an impact in this fight, but depending on the severity of it, it might mean just a little lull for a few weeks while it heals up. I'm almost in danger of trespassing on Johnny Greaves' area if I go on about that.
Just jumping in there, Belot, into that corner with that shot. You got to measure a little bit better with that lead hand. Going with that straight shot. That's better, you see, moving with the jab rather than the hook.
Let's at least say there was no panic when he obviously became aware that he was cut. They're having a good look at it immediately. Another little part of the tapestry in the rough trade of boxing. Coping with them. Robert Warren's already at work on it.
Yeah, it was a great round from Tino. He started that round throwing a good short right uppercut to Victor as he kept walking forward. That would have zapped some of the air away from him. And also, him going through the gears in that round was beautiful. You know, going through the gears will put the fear in your opponent because they won't like it and they won't know when you're going to do it. If you're going to do it again, and that's where the feints come in and help you to just throw them off before you really set about them.
Louis Van Puch is calling them together. And Mark Burtis is very shortly going to deliver the verdict.
Ladies and gentlemen, your referee scores the contest at 40 points to 36. The winner in the blue corner from West London, Tino Bellot. And please a round of applause for the brave and gallant Victor Charcot.
Well, Tino Bellot moves to 2-0. Good start to his career, and he'd have learnt from that tonight. Picked up a cut at the end as well, but hey, you've got to go through this stuff when you're a young pro coming through. Good learning rounds.
Absolutely, it goes back to what we said earlier on. You know, Tino got in there with an opponent tonight that on paper he should come through easily. But again, the experience, tough, rigid, durable opponent. Don't get me wrong, I thought it was a good performance by Tino. He had to change stance a couple of times in there. It showed that he can think on his feet already so early in his career, but picked up a cut at the end. I didn't see how the cut happened. I'm not sure whether that was from a shot or a catch ahead. We'll have to look back at that. But again, you know, the experience Tino would have picked up in that fight, priceless.
Yeah, he'll be a great addition to the cruiserweight division, by the way. Go and follow him on social media. He's got the social media on point. I believe he's got his own logo already. 2 fights in, he's got his own logo to announce him turning pro. He's got a wonderful promo video which involved, and do try and watch this. It's people leaving him voice notes saying, "Hey Tino, bro, when you going pro? When you going pro?" All of that. He turned pro. He announced it all. So he's switched on outside of the ring and looks like he's got the skills inside the ring.
Do you know what, though? We know it's so important nowadays. Boxing is not just about what you do in the ring. You've got to have some personality. If you look at some of the fights they're putting on in Riyadh, some of the fights you guys at Queensbury are putting on, you know, obviously it's ability based, but if you look at how you build the fights, you know, how you get there, what the backstory is, you've got to show some personality. You've got to almost be a brand. So the quicker that fighters learn that, the quicker they may get those opportunities when they match that with the talent they have.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like he needs a nickname, though. I was watching the other day. He actually had a London amateur final with Alois Jr. Alois, the Animal Jr. had a brilliant fight with him back then. Maybe we see that one day as a pro, but he needs a nickname for me. Any ideas on it?
I don't, but Dev, if anybody is going to come up with a good nickname, I think it's going to be you.
Let me stew on that for the remainder of the show. Listen, we're building up towards Sean Noakes, obviously the main event tonight. We're 3 fights in. It's going so swimmingly. We've even had a face-off between, of course, Orient's in there and a future fight. Brilliant stuff.
Fantastic stuff. And again, what you did there in the ring with them, the face-off, building up to the show, the first Gibraltar series on Saturday the 29th of March. Again, it goes to show how Box Nation is elevating, you know. It's not just a small hall show anymore. We're looking to the future. We're looking to tell stories, as we've just said. We're looking to build up to future shows. Fantastic performance in there from Orient's, I thought, by the way, as well.
Yeah.
Again, so early in her career, showed, you know, a good head on her shoulders. So, yeah, fantastic night. And like you say, all roads lead to the main event.
Yeah, and of course, that's what we're talking about there. March 29th. Box Nation will be live from Gibraltar. Ollie, I thought this was a joke when I got told. I thought you was just going on holiday. But I've seen you've been going around there, getting your little selfies and whatnot. You're looking forward to that one?
Yeah, it's going to be a huge night. And again, the next natural progression for Box Nation was to take it on the road. We've got a show in Kent in April the 17th. But yeah, the opportunity to do a show in Gibraltar came up. I went and spent some time there last week for a few days. getting the logistics of the show together.
Getting the tan.
A little bit of a suntan. Yeah, I had a few cocktails while I was out there. But no, look, they're excited. They're excited to bring professional boxing over there. Obviously, they've had Dillian Whyte over there previously. But again, we feel, and they feel, Box Nation is the next elevation for that. It's going to be a great night.
Well, I've just seen Martin Bowers walk behind me, which means his young charge, Sam King, is just about ready. Let's head over to our MC, Mark Burtis.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome into the ring from Marseille, France, Remy Cholo!
Here comes Remy Scolaire, the Frenchman on the card here tonight. Beware. He pulled off a shock victory here in April of 2024. Simon Legg just helps him into the ring. He knows the environment here. He seemed to enjoy it the last time he was here.
And from Luton, Bedfordshire, please welcome into the ring, Sam King!
There's a little nod in the direction of Luton Town FC in that tracksuit top that he's wearing, the gown with the black, orange and white. Nice smile from Mr. Sam King, the young man, 24 years of age. Marching out in time to the Arctic Monkeys. Walking back into the York Hall Arena.
Ladies and gentlemen, WBM, Trinity Entertainment Boxing and our sponsors AdFest proudly present our next bout this evening. It's a 6 3-minute rounds international contest in the super middleweight division. Firstly, fighting out of the red corner with 5 wins, 3 by way of knockout and 13 losses. Weighing in 161 pounds, 6 ounces, and tonight he wears the black and gold shorts. Please welcome from Thionville, Marseille, France, Remy Cholo! And across the ring in the blue corner, unbeaten with 3 wins, 1 by way of knockout and a draw. Weighing in 161 pounds, 7 ounces, and tonight he wears the navy orange and white shorts. Please welcome from Luton, Bedfordshire, Sam King! Your referee in charge is Lewis Van Pooch, now making his final instructions to both boxers.
Okay, boxers, you're both professionals, you both know the rules, and you both know what I expect. When I say break or stop, break clean, take a full step back, but above all, protect yourself at all times. Touch gloves.
Ladies and gentlemen, 6 3-minute rounds.
For the first round.
Sam King at super middleweight from Luton, fighting out of the very famous Peacock Gym, led by Martin Bowers. A young man whose unbeaten run continues. However, he has drawn one of his first 4. King, the 6'2" super middle. Remy Scolaire from France is the opponent here tonight. The man who pulled a shock win off here in April of 2024 against Jack Oliphant. Oliphant was the European junior champion maybe, 6 or 8 years ago. It was 2017, I believe.
Decent boxer, Sam King. Nice and tall for the weight, Paul, at 6'2" for super middle. That's a nice weight indeed. He's going to have height and reach over a lot of his opponents, as he has here. Remy Scolaire from France. He's really probably only a middleweight. His heaviest he's ever weighed is 11.8. So, you know, he's probably a natural middleweight, but nevertheless, a more experienced boxer than King. So it is a step up in terms of experience. Like I say, King, if he stands nice and tall, he should have the height and reach over this opponent and keep those punches long and straight, mid to long range, and break the opponent down gradually.
Scholar's trying to get close to him, Richie, early on.
Nice work there. Just switching the attack downstairs, which is good. Also, the right uppercut he's thrown could be a vital punch in this contest. Behind that jab, if the opponent just closes that gap down and gets to him light there, then he should be throwing that, certainly that right uppercut on the inside. But stand tall and use that jab and make the opponent come over the front foot, I think is what he should be doing, and he started well.
A little bit of power behind the punching early on from both fighters here tonight. As Monsieur Scholar demonstrates again, it's not entirely one-sided, but that is lovely boxing from Sam King, controlling somebody who could be a very lively proposition indeed in Scholar. When he's won as he did in this ring, Richie, within the last year, he's full of ambition here, isn't he, the opponent?
He's boxed 3 times, I think, in the UK, and as you say, Paul has got a victory here, so, you know, he won't be too upset, should I say, about boxing here. Ruffle his feathers a little bit, but no, he's quite at home here, isn't he? So he knows all about York or Bethnal Green.
The best way to intimidate him is to put on a show such as Sam King has done in that first round. He's got a lot of fans from Luton. They've sold a lot of tickets, and we're hearing that right now. Echo Esserman, over to you.
Yeah, Sam King went about that round getting straight into the mix. I've seen him hitting his opponent with a good chopping right hand, obviously due to his height, reach and advantage. And throughout the round, you could tell him sharp shooting his opponent, really trying to pick his shots. I will note that Scholar was taking a lot of aim for Sam's body, so it might seem like he's trying to slow him down on his behalf. But I think that was a round well in for Sam.
Very good start tonight from him. It's not quite a perfect record, as I said. Martin Bowers, who's doing the talking right now in that corner, tells the story very, very well indeed of what happened for King on the night when it all went wrong. He's lifting his 2 gloves there, almost like a signal to us in the commentary positions. I'm absolutely fine. So to explain what happened with King is that in the draw on his record against Artem Spator, the Estonian, in April of last year, he broke both his hands. So Barris says after round 2 he came back, he said, my lead hand has gone. Obviously this is professional boxing, it's just an occupational hazard. On you go, young man. Then at the end of the next round he comes back to the corner after round 3 and he tells Barris the other hand has gone as well. Apparently Martin Bowers said, in 40 years in boxing, I've never seen that before. I'm no Martin Bowers. I've been on the outside for about 30 odd, maybe a bit more, Richie. I've never seen any or heard anything like that before.
Yeah, an incredible situation, wasn't it? Yeah, for breaking both hands. That's a good shot there.
Yeah. Anyway, they're as good as new now. We're seeing that. So far, anyway.
Well, in this round, King's been boxing really well. Just behind, there's that uppercut I spoke about earlier, but just behind that lead hand of his, that jab, he's been keeping Scholar at bay.
Yes.
There you go. Those long-range shots, that's what he's got to be doing, Paul. But also, what King has got to watch out for, Paul, he gets pushed back quite easily. So when you're standing tall and you've got the height and reach, stand your ground. Just bring him onto shots and don't let the opponent push you back. That's what he's got to learn from this performance up to now. I mean, he's winning the contest, but he's just allowing Scholar just to push him back. Like there, look, in this situation, and he shouldn't be allowing him to do that. Just fend him off and fight him off with those straight shots and put a bit of authority behind him and keep him on the outside. Yeah. That's all I would say he needs to do here.
Scholar does know the game, though, doesn't he, Rich?
Yeah, he does. He's experienced.
That stylistic, it's not a fault, but it's a trait. That stylistic little need by King to give himself, there again, the little bit of extra room, that's an invitation to a fighter like Scholar. Right, I'm going to close the distance so that I'm ready to start throwing. Yeah. And here he goes.
There he goes, yeah. So King has just got to use that long range work just a little bit better and just keep the opponent at bay. As Scholar starts the attack off, just stop him in his tracks with that long straight jab and that right hand. And like I say, show him who's the boss and push him back. rather than him letting him push you back.
It's actually a very good match, this, style-wise. Some smart matchmaking has gone on, not for the first time, incidentally, on this card, but it's making for good entertainment. Obviously, big picture, the home fighter, Sam King of Luton, with all his support here tonight. The expectation is that he will add a W to the record. The expectation also is that Scholar will make him work for it. That's the plan. But if he slackens, there's just the outside possibility of another Scholar upset here in the East End of London. Now he steps in a bit more, closing the round well. It's lively, Echo, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. You could tell Sam King was upping his combo count during that round, really starting to push Scholar back a little bit. However, there were sparks of him being somewhat negative, as you mentioned, being upright in his stance, taking that step back and giving away ground can give the judges the wrong idea as well when they're obviously judging the match.
Great point.
And he needs to focus on fighting for that ring center, so his opponent's coming forward towards him, walking onto punches, and that can really set about some good combinations, which he's obviously good at.
I tell you what, they're brilliant in that Peacock gym about fixing technical issues like that. The work that they do is so smart, so well considered. They don't just make their young fighters go through rounds and start hammering out
10 seconds.
Big salvos of punches. There's a deeper purpose behind a lot of it.
Martin Bowers in his
Round
team,
3.
you know, they're very professional people, aren't they? And they certainly know their jobs.
Richie, every time I've gone into that gym, my eyes open wide. It is absolutely spotless.
Yeah.
It speaks of the professionalism of everything that they do there.
Yeah, they're good people, and they're good for boxing, and they know their stuff. See, this is that negative movement that we spoke about before, just drifted into the corner.
Yeah.
So, like I say, just fend the opponent off with those straight punches, bring him onto the right uppercut occasionally, but what you can't be allowed to see there is he's just drifting back to the ropes, and you shouldn't be doing that, Paul. I think he's winning the contest, and it's a good contest for him, but there are things he's got to improve on, young Sam King. But it's decent up to now.
It's a decent opponent, I say again. He's got a live one in there. This is a 6-rounder. We're only at the halfway stage of it even now.
See, this is when the jab should be going out. Just throw the jab out as the opponent's getting too... See, he's allowing the opponent to get a little bit too close, and then he's launching the attack, Scholar. So King just got to use that jab a little bit better, and a straight 1-2, and just stop the attack there and then. There you go. Just stop the attack coming there and then with those shots. Better.
Scholar needed a little bit of thinking time there. Good at finding the angles, however. The uppercut from King. And again, that stops the flow for Scholar.
Now, what Scholar should be doing, Paul, as well, probably a little bit more head movements needed from him. But there's the right on cue. I was just going to say, the right hand over the top is the shot, the punch he should be throwing, because he's being allowed to get close enough to throw that shot. So King's making the mistake of not using the jab, not measuring enough with that punch, and he's allowing the opponent to get a little bit too close. And that's why Scholar's got to use that right hand over the top when he has in those situations. And it was right on cue.
Hard to split them in this round, surely, for the referee scoring this one, Louis Van Poch. Scholar has his most successes in the fight so far in this round. There were some concerned looks for a moment or two in that King corner. Seems to have gotten back into his rhythm a little bit better. But he's giving a lot of ground now, Richie, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, and he's taking the shots that he shouldn't be taking, really. With that right hand over the top from Scholar, because you're allowing him, like I said, to get close enough to throw it. Just there you go, 1-2, and move off. Nice long range work, and then just move.
It is, as Echo Esserman has said, it's the impression that can be created by that he's got to be mindful of. Scholar enjoyed that, looked into King's eyes at the end of it. What are you seeing, Echo?
Yeah, in that round, I saw Sam King start off with more chopping shots as he should have been doing, but he allowed himself to shift close to the corners a a couple of the times. And if you notice, he keeps stepping off to his left, but that's inviting that hand from Scholler. So he's stepping into the range and the angles for that right hand to land. I think only towards the end of the round, Sam started to circle off to his right, away from the right hand, as he should have been doing. As Richie pointed out, throwing the 1-2, stepping off, reset, let your opponent reset, have to chase you, and catch him when he's trying to do that. That's what he should be focusing on, and hopefully that's what we'll see in the next round.
Quarters, 10 seconds. Seconds out. Round 4.
So a reminder again, we're only entering the second half of this Schedule 6 rounder. There's been some hard moments for Sam King. We believe he is ahead, the young super middleweight from Luton, but against Remy Scholler, he's been made to work every second of this tonight. And again at the start of this round.
Yeah, he is being made to work, isn't he? What I'd like to see from King at the start of the round is literally run to the centre of the ring and say, right, this is my territory.
Exactly.
I'm not going to be moved from here. And as the opponent comes, then throw them shots down the pipe. And don't move, and just move around that central area.
Now, a telltale sign in all this, Richie, is that some of the fan enthusiasm has waned slightly, because there was a tremendous noise coming up from these banks of Luton supporters who follow King everywhere. They're all looking at and sounding a bit more concerned now.
Yeah, they are indeed. I think Scholler's had a bit of success, hasn't he? They're not close, putting King occasionally on the ropes, and then he can work downstairs. A couple of the shots are borderline. But you see, whenever you get an opponent on the ropes, the feet will always come square. So then the body in the target area becomes full onto the opponent, and that's when you can score, especially downstairs. And from a judging's perspective, it always looks better for the opponent that's attacking, pushing his man onto the ropes. It looks like he's in control and he's winning. That's what it appears to be if you keep pushing the opponent back. But this is better now from King. That's it. He's just got to push his opponent back occasionally more, Paul.
More of the same, really, is what I think you're looking for, Richie, from King.
Yeah.
More consistency in his work.
He just allows the opponent to get a little bit too close, that's all. I quite like his left up to the body after he's thrown this right hand. He instinctively just switches downstairs with the left up to the body. That's a good shot. I'd like to see the right uppercut come into play a little bit more as Scholler comes forward and over that front foot. But mainly fend him off with the straight punches. There you go, 1-2, and again. There you go.
A very lively affair at super middleweight. Live tonight for you on Box Nation and the YouTube channel from the York Hall Bethnal Green. Big title fight ahead tonight, our top of the bill for the English welterweight title. Alongside Richie Woodall, we have Eko Essuman, the former British and Commonwealth welter champion, overseeing that, and indeed all the build-up fights tonight. This has probably been the pick of them so far, I would say. Very competitive indeed. King restoring a little bit of authority. Would that be fair in that round?
Yeah, I think definitely this was that was one of his better rounds in this match, I would say. He was jabbing more, and although Scholler came out at the start of the round giving a lot of giving off the sense of a lot of confidence, probably from the psychology of walking forward so much, I think Sam definitely took the round back. He was setting about his shots, and every time Scholler did an L-step, which is bringing his feet together and resetting with his stance, you see King land that 1-2, then go again, and then throw that left hook when he finished off some of his shots as well. It was good to watch. I think he's coming into his own now.
It's a very good learning fight, isn't it, all the same? This.
Definitely, yeah. You need them.
Richie's told us repeatedly over the years that they're embedded in his memory, the real step forward nights, and you've probably got plenty of them yourself. You know, there might have been a 6-rounder, then an 8-rounder, then a 10-rounder, and an opponent of quality that you look to the corner after 3 or 4 rounds. You didn't tell me he was quite this good. This is going to be hard. And King may well look back at some point in the future in his career and say, you know, remember that 6-rounder at the York Hall against that French guy? That was hard.
Yeah. Those hard wins are the ones you remember and you learn from.
Good start to the round, both boxers on that front foot. It's important when your opponent ups the tempo, you've got to match it, you've got to go with it. And just snub out the attack, really, or the change in tempo from the opponents. And I think that's what King has done here at the start of this round. Some better stuff from him, fighting fire with fire. And like I say, I'd still like to see him hold his ground, Paul, a little bit more.
I just had a sense for like the last 20-30 seconds of the 4th round there, Richie, that the tank started to empty a little bit for Scholar. He might well get a second win. I fancy that he will, because he's clearly in shape. But the way King finished that last round, I think would have provided reassurance for his corner.
Yes, indeed. And you've got to remember, this is Sam King's first 6-rounder, isn't it? So that's important. So that'll be in the back of his mind. He'll be doing 4 rounds. So, you know, it's a gradual increase. And so this is the first time that he's been into the 5th round, isn't it? Yes, the first 6-rounder.
Exactly. Modern times, Eko Esserman, who's with us tonight, you know, supreme athlete, we know that, but you were a standout athlete in your day, Richie. Do you remember that as being a significant step from 4 to 6 when you were a novice pro?
I actually started on 6, Paul.
Okay.
I had the choice. They asked me if I'd like to start at 4. I didn't want 4. I said I want to go straight to 6.
And do you think that was because you'd been top amateur as well?
Well, yeah, because I had a bit like Eko's engine. I had a good solid engine there with an Olympic cycle under my belt, and I felt confident in doing the 6-3s. But yeah, it's obviously you're in against tougher opponents, and it can be quite challenging. But you have to challenge yourself, don't you? And I wanted to go to 6 rounds straight away.
He's still in charge, King, but it's not by much.
No, there's not a line there, Paul. I think he's winning the contest, but it's a competitive one, and he's having to work in every round. And there are periods of the round when Scholar has a little bit of success, whips a right hand over, puts him on the ropes, and then, you know, he appears to be doing well. But I think overall, King's probably winning this one, but it's a competitive bout, this is.
We may hear at a later date from Martin Bowers that one of the benefits of this fight tonight, King's not reading a lot of these combinations that Scholar's producing, is he? But when he looks back at this, he'll say, oh, right, I see what he did there. Yeah. I've got to prevent that next time.
Yeah, and he's letting him in too close, Paul, occasionally.
Over to you again, Eko.
Yeah, I think that was a great round for the both of them. I think they started off the round investing in close quarters warfare, lots of body shots going in there, trying to slow each other down. And they had their moments fighting in and out of the pocket. Sam King came out of it, took a bit more control with the longer shots in periods as well. And just like you said, I think it is one of those fights. He'll look back and you'll think, oh, I see what he was doing there. Next time I'll become a bit cute to it. But I think although he's moving to his left, he's become a bit cute to that right hand coming. So he has got that left elbow up a bit higher, like anticipating that right hand to come. So he is learning on the job.
And give us a little insight. You know, you're deemed to be an excellent outside boxer. You got great footwork. You can do 12. You could have done 15 rounds easy. But in the pocket,
for the 6th and final round,
that element to it is also very, very important. Here we go in the 6th round of 6 at super middleweight. Our own superstar, middle and super middleweight, Richie Woodall. Richie, what are the key factors here now for King?
I think he's just got to see this one out now. I think he's winning the contest, but like I say, I think Scholar has been in it every step of the way. That's better from him. And just shut out the show now, Paul, and finish strong. So, you know, he's got to the 6th round. He's probably what's going through his mind now. I've never been here before, but I feel good because he still looks good. He still looks strong. So just finish strong now and put your shots together. And again, push the opponent back occasionally. Bring him onto those straight right hands. And I think overall it's been a fair performance here from King. Yes, he will look back and he could have done things better, but it's his first 6-rounder against a tough opponent. But he's got to just shut the show now and just up the work rate and just put the icing on the cake on the victory.
Luton fans right behind him. The fantastic lightweight, Billy Schwer from Luton, one of their best ever, I would say.
Yeah, great.
Former British, Commonwealth and European champion in what was a great era in Britain for lightweights, incidentally. Billy Schwer was in some absolutely unforgettable championship fights with a whole load of other contenders, Colin Dunn and many others in the 1990s. Billy is watching on, the young prodigy here from Luton, Sam King.
Yeah, he's a great lad, Billy Schwer. I was actually in the same England team back in the mid-80s with him. Great lad, great kid. Him and his father.
Yeah.
He was a lovely man, he really was.
Dad was a star amateur boxer back in Ireland, actually, Richie.
Yeah. So I believe, yeah. And a boxing family through and through. Lovely people.
Still Scholar making sure that Sam King is being asked to work every second of this.
Yeah, it's a good learning fight for him, most certainly. It hasn't been easy. He's been caught with a few good shots, but I think overall he's done the better work, and it's a learning fight for him against a tough kid. Now he's got to get back to that long range stuff. There you go, and again. And if he falls in, whip one through the middle, that right uppercut. There's that left up to the body. That's a nice shot.
Yes.
There's the uppercut. He's listening.
Good response from Scholar, though. At this precise moment, I'll wager that King is very grateful for every yard he's run in preparation for this fight, because it has not been easy. Scholar's a very naturally fit man who keeps fit by fighting, of course. He's one of those. And the tempo's been very hard, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a great learning fight for King. It really has. Tough fight.
Wow, what a piece of matchmaking that is. A very entertaining super middleweight contest. Scholar saluted by Martin Bowers in the King corner. Young Sam King goes over to the French guys in Scholar's corner to say merci, bienvenue, your call, but please fight somebody else the next time.
I think you got it spot on, Paul, in terms of the matchmaking there, because you want a young prospect to come through and to be tested. And Echo, he certainly was there, wasn't he? He was really tested every round.
Oh, definitely. I think in the end, speaking of the pressure of fighting in the pocket, he really came about it at the beginning of that round, landing some great right uppercuts. And I think if he had found those earlier, this could have been a different match. And also in this last match, I think he realised, as you said, Richie, this is the first time I've been here, but I've got energy now. And
yeah,
he definitely tried to use it.
Terrific fight, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a wicked fight to watch.
So Louis Van Poch has brought them together. I think as an ex-pro himself, he really appreciates it.
Ladies and gentlemen, your referee scores the contest 58 points to 56. The winner in the blue corner from Luton, Bedfordshire, Sam King. And please, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for the brave and talented Remy Scholar.
But he did enough. 58 to 56 was the referee's verdict. And a salute again to the opponent, Remy Scholar, for making Sam King really extend himself. But he's come through. Hopefully we'll hear good news about the hands, incidentally, which were broken, both of them, in a fight not so very long ago. Hopefully he's got that out of his system now as well. Back to the gym with a W, and surely he's never had to work as hard as that early in his pro career, but it's all ended well tonight. Thumbs up from Martin Bowers. That's a good sign as well.
Sam, your fourth professional win. Break it down for us.
Yeah, it was a good fight, really good learning. I couldn't have asked for a better opponent for my fifth fight. Yeah, he was good. Like he brought it to me. I've seen him get his last fight was a win by knockout. He's knocked out good pedigree before me, so I knew it was a tough fight, and I knew he'd be strong. But yeah, it was a really good fight and a great win.
Aside from it being a tough fight, it's the first time you've gone 6 rounds. How important was it to get the rounds under your belt?
So important. These are the fights you need for the fights further down the line. Like, you need these sort of fights. Someone tough, experienced, and hard to get out of there. And that's what he was. So it was a perfect fight for me in this stage of my career.
And you've got the win. Anyone in mind next?
No, I'm not here to call anyone out yet. I'm just leaving that to my manager, Martin Bowers, and Peacock. Obviously, Frank and Queensbury, or any other show that I'm on, like this one today. And yeah, that's why I leave it up to my team to make them decisions.
Final question. You fought at York Hall before. Looking around tonight at the setup, the production, Box Nation's back. What a show.
Yeah, wicked show. Amazing show. You guys have put a really, really great show on. And yeah, I'm happy to be here. This is a great venue, historic.
Sam King, congratulations. Back to Dev Sani in the presenting area.
Well, dream it, believe it, become it. Look who's here, shadow boxing with gloves as well this time, Tunde Enjoy.
I know, this is Dylan White gloves.
My
I call him
goodness.
Dylan White gloves.
Yeah, I imagine his are a bit bigger. He's a big old glove. And thoughts to him, he's injured his finger, unfortunately. Tunde, great to see you. How are you?
Oh, feeling good. Fantastic, actually. Mr. Anthony Yard keeping me young, youthful, sprightly, and the assassin, the new assassin on the block, the new lion, or we call him the gorilla, Joe Kadua, 8-0. It's happy days.
It sounds like you're running a zoo, so you've got a gorilla, you've got a lion.
Yeah. Now listen, I might as well open a zoo.
Yeah, you may as well open a zoo. Tell me, how are you feeling about what you've seen tonight? Sam King just there, 6 hard learning rounds.
Yes, and got the best team around him. You know, the Peacock, Martin Bowers. You know, these are the people that brought me in, looked after me, gave me a home to reside in, and really learn my craft. And these guys are the best guys that Sam's got around him to develop, and these are the type of fights that you need to develop as a fighter. So great, the build, the show has been fantastic so far. Box Nation, the legendary Paul Dempsey, my favourite MC, I call him an MC because I think I'm Mac and Peckham. So he's my favourite mic man, the great Rishi Woodall. It's just a great show. Tommy Phillips.
Keep going.
That was good. Tommy Phillips. And,
no, but you said Paul Dempsey, Richard
Paul Dempsey,
anyone else?
Of course.
Sort of
the one
in front of
only.
you, maybe you're enjoying.
No. The
back,
one,
maybe.
the only, the Mr. Dangerous Dev Sani.
I thought so. And that's a great way to move on to our next fight. Thank you,
Yes,
Tunde.
sir.
The Joy. Let's head back to Mark Burtis.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome into the ring from Venice, Italy, by way of Nicaragua. Please welcome Christian Narvaez.
Mark Burtis calls out Christian Narvaez. Doesn't really need to be called out here. This is almost a home away from home for a Nicaraguan who is now about to go through the ropes for his 110th
And please welcome
fight.
from Harrowfield, London, the King, Mitchell Smith!
We've got some big title fights ahead tonight, but this truly could be the story of the night. Mitchell Smith is soaking it all in. If he chose the ring music himself, he's 1 round up already. Smart indeed. But then again, this is no kid. This is the 32-year-old version of Mitchell Smith. I mentioned the very interesting upcoming autobiography of Johnny Greaves written with Adam Dark. If there's a book to be written about Smith, it'll need a good look over from the lawyers, number one. and number 2, it would surely be fascinating. What a life story his is already.
Ladies and gentlemen, WBM Trinity Entertainment Boxing and our proud sponsors at Advest present our next bout this evening. It's a 6 3-minute rounds international contest in the light welterweight division. Firstly, fighting out of the red corner with over 100 contests to his name, weighing in 143 pounds, and tonight he wears the black, red and white shorts. Please welcome from Venice, Italy, by way of Nicaragua, Christian Narvaez. And moving across into the blue corner with 17 wins, 9 by way of knockout and a single loss, weighing in 139 pounds 6 ounces, and tonight he wears the white and gold shorts. Please welcome from Harrow Weald, London, the King, Mitchell Smith. Your referee in charge is Mr. Chris Jones. He will now give his final instructions to both boxers.
Okay, boxers, obey my word of command at all times. Defend yourself at all times. Keep all your punches above the waist. Any questions, red? Any questions, blue? Touch gloves. Good luck, boy.
Ladies and gentlemen, 6 3-minute rounds.
So the stage is set here at the York Hall Bethnal Green for the latest chapter in the amazing life and times of Mitchell Smith. I remember the night that the one and only Johnny Tapia fought here many, many years ago when they were queuing down to the Bow Road for the tickets. In more recent times, Mitchell Smith, similar story in so many ways. Also described by many as the new Kevin Mitchell. And the reason I mention that is not because he also hoped to find a role on the cast of EastEnders, but Mitchell Smith has lived a very strange and often weird life outside of the ring, got in his own way for so many years. This once, the new Kevin Mitchell moniker, particularly due to his emergence as an outstanding young amateur. And it feels so long ago, Richie. 2011 he won the senior ABAs as an 18-year-old, turned pro with a lot of publicity only a year later, and for the first few years there didn't seem a cloud on the horizon. 2015, the British Boxing Writers Young Boxer of the Year, and he was actually up to number 4 in the WBO World Rankings before you knew it. But here he is all these years later, Richie, giving it another go.
Yeah, it's incredible to think, you know, he made his pro debut in 2012, which seems an age ago now, doesn't it? And yes, everyone was speaking about him. He's a really good boxer, but then he just disappeared off the scene, didn't he? From, I think, from 2017 to about 2022, he had a good 5-year absence out of the game, and then he's come back. But he looks to still retain those skills that he had. And yes, he was spoken about very highly by good boxing people who know the game. But yeah, he had a big future. And at 32, you know, he's not too old, Paul. He's having another go. So let's see where it takes him. But if he can put a string of wins together, then who knows? Because he is a talent, no doubt.
Well spotted by our referee. That was a little bit low. Acknowledged also by Mitchell Smith. Richie, only 4 pro outings since the one defeat, which seemed to do so much to derail his career. He lost to George Jupp on points in December of 2015. Didn't get the rematch. Jupp went on. Smith pretty much went out the game.
Yeah, exactly. But he is a talented boxer. There's no doubt about that, Paul. And let's hope this is a new start. But he's picked, or they have picked a tough opponent to come back to.
Yes.
A man who, you know, 84 defeats and over 100 contests, but has only been stopped 3 times. So I'm sure Mitchell Smith will get the win here. But if he could force a stoppage, now that would be making a statement.
Not easy to do that. Naves stays fit by fighting. He had 11 pro outings in 2024. Insight also tonight from Echo Esserman. What have you seen there in that opening round, Echo?
Just wanted to add to that. At some point, just after lockdown, Mitchell Smith trained at my gym for a little bit, and he has such a great mindset and outlook on life and what he's doing, and it's testament to what he's doing in the ring today. He's been throwing some great right-hand bolo-esque shots. A bolo is kind of like a overhand, but from below, like an uppercut-esque shot. And he landed a good few of those to his opponent's body, slowing him down. And it looks like he has a really good sense of his rhythm and shifting his weight between his stance, which allows for him to be a great counter-puncher. He's definitely trying to get him out of there.
Corners,
and
10
why
seconds.
not? It would make such a good, mark on his resume.
Seconds out.
Statement.
Thank you, Echo. Another little reminder to Smith. Just keep him up. Don't spoil your own work by going south of the border. No, that was actually below the belt-ish right at the start of the round, wasn't it? He didn't put anything into the shot, in fairness.
Well, I think that the protector and the belt line of the opponent is fairly high as well, Paul, you know, and the way he just sits and tucks those elbows in, and then he sort of crouches down a little bit, Naves. Yeah, I think it's quite easy to declare a shot that looks low that probably isn't low. It's on the border itself, because like I say, it's a high guard. That is his protector is very high for me.
Do you think allowances should be made for that, Richie?
Well, I don't just bring, like I say, it probably shouldn't it? I think it's just the way he's sort of positioning his body, Naves, and the way he just crouches down a little bit and just brings his elbows in and he what we call tucks up. Then he sort of rounds his shoulders, and then he naturally sits down, and then it looks really easy to throw a body shot that looks low, but probably it isn't low.
Sometimes we see a referee actually indicate to the boxer before the first bell, that's low, that's not low.
Yeah.
One or two were definitely on the wrong side of the abdominal protector line, but well done the referee this time, just allowing them to continue to work.
Because like I say, Paul, it's a high waistband, isn't it? No doubt.
He's very good all-round, Naves, at making himself a small target.
Small target, tucks up, elbows in, then it's a difficult target to penetrate, to get through.
It's like a tortoise carrying his house around on his back.
But in these situations, Paul, you need plenty of feints to try and draw something off the opponents and then come back with a counter. That's a better shot there.
Echo Eckerman has spoken about that balance. There was a great example of it right there. That skills may be a little bit faded compared to the teenage protege who turned pro, but the natural talent remains.
So I mean, Naves, his feet are all over the place, Paul. Sometimes he's orthodox, sometimes he's southpaw. Look, there was a natural just switch there. His feet keep crossing, he keeps coming square on. He's a tough nut, there's no doubt about it. Hard to bring him out of that shell, but this is why you have to call on your feints and trying to draw a lead or a punch from the opponent, and then to quickly come back with a very fast counter. So this is a test, most certainly, for Smith, who, by the looks of it, he's a talented boxer, Mitchell Smith. You can see he's got natural talent.
And we're seeing the intelligence to work out the task. Sharp in that round. He seemed to me to relax into it a little bit more from the early exchanges and enjoy it, Echo.
Yeah, I think I definitely agree with that. I think towards the start of the round, he was throwing a beautiful lead left uppercut, Mitchell was, and he was having a good use of his feints, as Richie pointed out. And at some point, he was mixing it up between head and body to confuse his opponent and land some really telling blows. Towards the end of the round, though, I did notice he was throwing a lot more uppercuts, and they seemed to be landing with good stuff.
So 2 of 6 scheduled. Super lightweight, light welter.
Corners, 10 seconds. Seconds out. Round 3.
And the size of him also, Paul, Mitchell Smith, in the future he may even go down to lightweight, to be quite honest, because he's fairly short, as his opponent. His opponent's only 5'4" also, so he may go down a weight. You know, he's having a second go at it now in his pro career, but he may step down because of the height. And if he could step down a division and carry that strength with him, then yeah, he could possibly do something.
What we're really looking forward to finding out is whether there's a sense of a mission behind this, Richie, longer term. We both were lucky enough to be in Bournemouth last weekend to see a fantastic show from Ryan Garner. Yes, in terms of career accomplishment, he's right up there, Garner, compared to Mitchell Smith. But the same lost years where it seemed to all go wrong for Garner. He's put himself together with the backing, of course, of many people, but he has the one who's had to do the work, and he looked a very special potential world level fighter last week, and it all came from having a renewed sense of purpose.
Best shot of the round for Naves there. That was a good punch from him. And Smith, just before that, landed a couple of sides to plant his feet and put some real power shots in. A couple of good shots, but it was a good response from Naves. There again, very unorthodox, you see, keeps switching from orthodox. Look how square his feet come. He goes from orthodox to southpaw. He probably doesn't realise he's actually doing it, Naves. He does it so naturally, but making mistake after mistake, and I think Smith just got to watch out for that and try and catch him as those feet keep crossing and he comes square on. That's when Naves is open, and Smith has certainly got the talent to catch him. Just got to watch out for it, get the timing right.
Nonetheless, the mentality shift from Naves was quite telling there, Richie. I think we're in the third round after what was a very good second round for Mitchell Smith, almost as if he said, it's time that I showed I'm not going to be dominated here.
Yeah, he's a good pro, isn't he, Naves? There's no doubt about that. Very, very experienced and tough. And very often, fighters like Smith, who are much more naturally talented, can get frustrated. So it's important just to keep plugging away, keep using your lead hand, look for the openings, and just break the opponent down gradually. Try not to get frustrated, because you will against a tough man like this guy.
Certainly made Mitchell Smith think a little bit more in this round. Smith's looking for the big finish to the round, but I don't think Naves wants to give him that opportunity. Naves enjoyed that. It was much better from Smith's opponents tonight. How did you think Smith reacted to the fact that Naves came out of his shell there, Echo?
Yeah, I was thinking Smith started off the round walking and stalking Naves, however, until Naves answered back with that big overhand, and then Smith set about the round a bit more cautiously. He needs to really think about investing in setting about his opponent and chipping away at them, as opposed to just looking for that big shot, which I'm sure will come to him faster than anything, because it's all experience, and he's done it before. He can do it again.
He did take a right uppercut there, which was a well-delivered shot by Naves. So one or two little reminders.
Quarters, 10 seconds.
Richie, once we get into this round, I want to ask you a question about one of the consequences of the long layoff.
Round 4.
So we're through the halfway point. Punch resistance, Richie, when a fighter does not fight. Tell us more about how that can be impacted, please.
Well, it can be impacted because if you have a long layoff of 4 or 5 years, that means you're not in a gym and you're not getting hit. And but having said that, Paul, that's not too much of a worry. It's just that the body itself can soften up a little bit if you haven't been training. I found that when I retired.
I remember you telling me years ago,
Absolutely.
in the latter part of your career, I said I've got to keep fighting, because if I'm not active, that is it's like rust on a car.
Yeah,
it will set in,
yeah.
and it's very difficult to shift it again.
Your body just naturally goes softer if you're not
Yeah.
training and you're not taking shots, because very often in training you become immune to taking punches. They literally bounce off you. You don't really feel it, but once you pack the game in for a while or have a long layoff and you don't go into the gym and your body goes soft, then you really feel it. So the punch resistance can affect you there, but it can be more in the body than it can be the head, to be quite honest. And I think, fair play to him. He's had a long layoff. He's got to come back now, but it is a new start for him, really. And at 32, he's still got time, so I admire him for coming back into it. But it will be difficult, Paul. There's no doubt about that. That was a good shot there from Narvaez.
I think
distorted to the body.
The best proof of your argument there, Richie, is actually the body of Narvaez, because don't be fooled, folks, by the shape of him. This is a guy who fights all the time, and the punches do bounce off him.
Yeah, he's naturally tough, isn't he? No doubt. And he's used to being hit, Paul, and when you're used to being hit like this, the way he is, then, like you said, they do just bounce off him. And you'd expect maybe for him to fold here and there, but he doesn't, because he's so used to being punched, and he's got sort of that mental approach now. It's more of a mental toughness as well as a physical toughness, that he can't be hurt. He believes in, his ability, and he believes in his toughness.
Nonetheless, Mitchell Smith is still making the running. Narvaez has found ways to pick him off quite impressively at times. He's got the greater wit in his work, certainly, Smith. He can see nice little angles, perhaps a bit quicker. Mentally, he's a better operator,
yeah, the
basically.
quality of the boxing's better from Smith, no doubt. And his punching quality also, snapping the shot. But Narvaez, is a typical journeyman pro, hard, comes at different angles occasionally, throws shots from where you're not expecting. And he's tough. And he's someone you just can't sit there and think you're going to hit and hold your feet and keep your hands down, because he takes the shot and he's back at you. So he's still dangerous, Narvaez. Look at him here.
Narvaez is enjoying making Mitchell Smith work pretty hard. Echo, over to you.
At some point during the start of that round, Narvaez hit Smith with a shot of his own that was just on the belt line, and it looked like Smith started to put real oomph on his own shots. However, as the round went on, there was a lot of kidology between them, kind of trying to tease each other, and sometimes that can draw your opponent out into swinging and missing and making silly mistakes. And I think that's what they're both trying to do. I saw Mitchell try to take hold of a good right hand towards the end of the round. However, it missed just by a few inches. So he really needs to set about really setting up his shots as opposed to just throwing them.
Corners, 10 seconds. Seconds out. Round 5.
2 to go. Special comments tonight from Echo Esserman, the former British and Commonwealth welterweight champion, who of course is going to give us some great insight into our main event tonight here on Box Nation YouTube channel. Sean Noakes defending the English welterweight title. But before that, next in the ring here, Ezra Taylor from the same part of the world as Echo in Nottingham.
There was a clear example of Smith landing a couple of good shots there. I think one punch was a little bit low there, but the referees allowed him to carry on. He just hit him with 2 or 3 good shots, did Smith, but then held his feet a little bit too long, and that just allowed Narvaez to come back at him. Tough kid, Narvaez.
He really is. The matador is Mitchell Smith. Can't call Christian Narvaez a bull exactly, certainly not a raging bull. However, he is incredibly game and very knowing.
I think he's an ambidextrous fighter, Paul. He keeps just switching from orthodox to southpaw, and like I say, it's not a meaningful thing that he does. He just does it so naturally, so he's very, very comfortable. Obviously, probably hits as hard with both hands and the way he just keeps switching, he feels natural as orthodox as he does southpaw. And you don't very often see that, to be quite honest. But here, look, just keep switching all the time. I'll tell you a fighter I used to admire who do that very naturally. The former world champion was James DeGale. He was a natural switch hitter, but he could box orthodox and southpaw. Very talented James DeGale was, and he could do it without even thinking about doing it.
Let's see if he can keep the work rate high, the output of punches from Mitchell Smith. That would be a sign that there's more behind this than just a one-night comeback. The pace hasn't been that hot, in fairness. He wants Naves to come to him, Richie, but
yeah.
I often wonder whether, you know, when you telegraph it like that, the exact opposite will happen, because your opponent who's been around like Naves reads that. He's not going to walk onto something for you.
No, he's not going to play ball, really.
Went and sat on the rope for about 20 seconds instead.
He's probably just trying a little bit too hard here, Mitchell Smith. He wants to land that one single shot that could do the damage, but he's just trying a little bit too hard, Paul. Just got to stick to his boxing a little bit more. I mean, he's winning, but like I say, there was an example. Just missed the target there. Just trying a little bit too hard.
Naves with a bit of cadeology of his own in that round. He wants to give the fans the big finish. He came out in a blaze of glory. The pre-game show was pretty good from Smith even before he got in the ring. What's he got to give us in this last round for you, Echo?
I think at some point in the round, Smith punched Navis's gumshoe out. He got a good bit of confidence off that. He tried to turn the screw, and I think he thought it was his moment to make a statement. But I think the statement that he's making, he's trying a little bit too hard. If he just withholds a little bit, he'll really set up something special. And I think in the next round, if he's going about thinking about his work, and I'm sure his corner are telling him that might well happen.
They're just having a little bit of a strategy council in
Corners,
the corner.
10 seconds. Seconds out for the 6th and final round.
So this is the final round of 6. It's been pretty good tonight, let's be fair, from Mitchell Smith. Showing that he's still got all the intelligence, all the technique, and he's in a reasonable state of fitness, to say the least of it, Richie, I think, at 32, isn't he?
I think so. I think, you know, this has been, again, it's been a good match because it's been awkward. And he's had to think, he's had to work in every round. His opponents come back at him, caught him with a couple of good shots, and dragged him into a toe-to-toe battle occasionally. So I think, overall, I think Mitchell Smith, a lot of talent that he's got. You know, and he's winning the contest. That was a lovely move there. Nice 2 shots from him.
Richie, here's the thing. There is a danger with Mitchell Smith that a lot of the top guys in this division in Britain will go, oh, he's to be avoided because we know about the talent. He's got it all to prove now. I don't want to be the guy who walks into the wrong night against Mitchell Smith. That's a possibility, is it not?
Yeah, it's a good point because he has got talent. There's no doubt about that. So yes, Paul, good point indeed.
And I guess from Smith's point of view, he'll be so keen to get the next step, maybe find himself a good 8-rounder stroke 10-rounder quite quickly.
Well, that's it. That's probably the next step for him now, Paul, to be quite honest, because at 32, I don't think it's too late, but at the same time, he doesn't want to hang around now. He needs to box regular now. And so those bigger fights could come sooner rather than later. But yes, maybe get into an 8-rounder in the next 2 or 3 months and just keep boxing on a regular basis. At 32, that's what he needs to do. And I think if he boxes regular, Paul, he'll keep improving. He'll get better and better.
It'll all start coming back. I think we've seen that in the fights generally, because he's made Naves work a lot harder in this fight than Naves would often have to if he's in against a guy where he's just thinking about surviving. Naves has had to show plenty to stop being pushed around completely here tonight by Mitchell Smith.
Yeah, definitely.
Look, no, I don't often remember seeing Narvaez really reaching for the air to fill his tank up in the latter rounds, but he's having to do that in this fight.
Deciding to stand toe-to-toe now with Narvaez, and he's actually catching him with the better shots. He's just waiting, it's speed of punch, you see, and he's just waiting for Narvaez just to make a mistake and to throw a lazy shot, and he's coming back with some very fast counters, or he's doing what we call counter-attacking, where he's just beating him to the shot as he's getting up close, up at short range there. So it's a bit of a risk, actually, Paul, boxing like that when you're in punching range. But he's got confidence in his reflexes and confidence in his power. A good end to the contest.
Narvaez is not going to go over, is he? But Mitchell Smith has proved a lot of points. Number one, being able to work pretty hard for 6 rounds. He got himself in shape physically. Mentally, he appears to have the determination back to make this a meaningful comeback. And technically, Echo, what did you see in terms of the skill set after all these years?
Oh wow, he's definitely still fit, and not having his way, it's probably a good thing, because it'll make him have to think smarter about his boxing. He might, to be fair, he might scare a few people and put himself in the Who Wants Him club. But as you did make a good mention, he needs to keep his momentum and stay in the gym, stay ready. He needs to stay ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, your referee scores the contest 60 points to 54. The winner in the blue corner from Harrowfield, London, the King, Mitchell Smith. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for the gallant Christian Narvaez.
Remains. Richie.
Yeah, I think overall that's a decent performance for him against a tough kid. And like I said, at 32, it's not the end of the road for him, and he's got a sort of second coming now, hasn't he, Mitchell Smith? And like Echo says, he's got to keep that momentum going, got to box on a regular basis. But quite clearly from tonight, he has definitely got a lot of talent, and he could do something as either as a super lightweight or even as a lightweight because of his size. If he could drop down, then he could be a real threat. And like I said, Paul, I think the bigger fights are going to come sooner rather than later, but he must keep it going.
That's a very interesting point on the weight. When you're 32 years of age, Richie, and you've had a lot of time out,
yeah,
are you prepared to go through what you've got to go through?
I just look at his size, Paul. I just look at his size. He's not a very tall man, super lightweight. So that could be a possibility.
Thank you very much, Richie. We're going to hand it over to Ollie Bethel now to have a word with our winner.
Mitchell Smith. Mitchell, you enjoyed that. A lot to unpack there, but it all started with the ring walk. You had a great time up there, didn't you?
I had a great time, mate. It only feels like last year I was here at Box Nation and one of their young up-and-coming stars. I'm very, very grateful for Warren Boxing Management putting me on, Box Nation putting me on, and I'm excited to where this Mitchell Smith 2.0 goes.
So back on Box Nation, durable opponent in there. Break the fight down for us.
Very durable. After my last 4-rounder back in December, I realised that I was doing too much output in my sort of 4 and 6 round sparring. Tried to slow the pace down a little bit, but every time I did land hard and I felt like I was slowly getting to him, he would come back with something. I'm like, that's not part of the script, but hey, look, I'm so happy to have got 6 rounds done there, and hopefully my next date is May, and I could just keep on progressing on top of performance after performance. Look, I'm already winning after the 5-6 years that I've had. To be back in here is nothing but a miracle.
What's your ultimate goal here?
The super featherweights at the moment are just keeping it warm for me. So when I'm back down there, I'm coming for you, baby.
Mitchell Smith's coming. Congratulations tonight, Mitchell. All the best. Back.
Just quickly, my son Vinny's watching at home. I know that your tooth is loose. It better be out by the time Daddy's home, otherwise you'll get him on and all, son. Love you.
Congratulations, Mitchell. Back to Dev Sani in the presenting area.
Brilliant. I'll tell you what, boxing loves redemption stories. We love redemption stories, and what that guy was, Mitchell Smith, back in 2015, he was special. He's looking world class. Tonight we saw a few glimpses of that. Delighted to be joined by Masood Abdullah here, by the way. What did you see tonight from Mitchell Smith?
I saw a guy that was showing glimpses of why he was prospect of the year. I'm a big fan of Mitchell Smith. I'm happy that he's back. I'm happy he's competing again. And I just can't wait to see his rise in the sport.
And like when he made his comeback, it was at 147. This fight was at 140. He wants to get back to 130 pounds, super featherweight division, where he was doing so well. That's 10 pounds away. Do you think he can do it?
I think he can do it. There's a lot to say about motivation. I mean, look how much weight he's lost. He's a lot healthier now. I think giving him a little bit more time, watch him trim the weight down, watch him get better and polish up his skills, and be like the old Mitchell Smith that we all know. Prospect of the year, Mitchell Smith.
Well, listen, if he gets around about that kind of weight, that's sort of near you, Masood.
Very close, yeah.
Very close.
Yeah. I know, man. Let's see. He's a friend of mine. I like him. I don't want to say anything, but I do like the guy.
Listen, you don't want to say anything. I like saying things. I like flying little seeds here and there. Could be fun one day. Listen, where are we with Masood Abdullah? You're at a different stage in your career now. For the first time, looking to bounce back from a defeat.
Yeah, I mean, I lost my last fight. I'm definitely not happy. I'm pissed. I'm fuming. It's Ramadan right now and I'm still training. I just can't wait to get back in the ring. I feel like there's a fire lit underneath me and I just can't wait. I can't wait to pummel someone, beat the shit out of them. I'm angry. That's the best way to say it. Like, it might not show it, but I'm coming back with vengeance. And hopefully I can get the rematch with Zach Miller and just beat the utter shit out of him. I'm not letting things go to the scorecards. Yeah, I can't wait.
Okay, we can't wait either. I am being told I must apologise for the language. Do you want to say sorry for the language as well?
I do apologise for the language.
Look, he's sorry as well. I'm sorry as well. Let's head back to Mark Burdiss.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from Chorleywood, Hertfordshire, Ryan Haycock!
Two crackerjack affairs to top the bill here tonight at the York Hall Bethnal Green. This is the first of them. It is at light heavyweight, and Ryan Haycock steps into the ring. This is a man who should not be overlooked tonight. Has lost a few.
And please welcome into the ring from Nottingham, Ezra the Cannon Taylor!
Haycock's problem is he is in against one of the most talented fighters emerging in Britain at the moment. Here is Ezra Taylor. A personality in every sense, but a very polished operator indeed. He's very relaxed indeed, but not as relaxed as he was watching Louis Edmondson last week in Bournemouth. He yawned his way quite ostentatiously.
Ladies and gentlemen, WBM
it wasn't
with Trinity Entertainment Boxing and our sponsors Advest and I'm Not Vanilla proudly presents our next bout this evening. It's a 6 3-minute rounds contest in the light heavyweight division. Firstly, out of the red corner, with 8 wins, 1 by way of knockout and 5 losses, weighing in 176 pounds and 2 ounces. And tonight, he wears the black shorts. Please welcome from Chorleywood, Hertfordshire, Ryan Haycock. And across the ring in the blue corner, with an unbeaten 10 wins, 7 by way of knockout, weighing in 181 pounds, 6 ounces, and tonight he wears the white shorts. Please welcome from Nottingham, Ezra the Cannon Taylor. Your referee in charge is Sean McAvoy, now giving his final instructions.
Okay, lads, 6-round contest. Keep it clean at all times. Keep yourself protected at all times. Touch gloves. Here we go. Good luck, lads.
Ladies and gentlemen, 6 3-minute rounds.
Ezra Taylor always looks the business in the white kit with the shiny, new-looking red gloves, and needs to keep on looking the business when the first bell goes. Light heavyweight contest. It is a 6-rounder against the KG southpaw Ryan Maycock. Taylor knows that there are some major opportunities almost within touching distance, maybe even against Louis Edmondson, British and Commonwealth title holder at the moment, but it's a division stacked with top level British operators on the world scene, and they're all potential targets for Taylor. Let's see tonight, Rich, how sharp he's going to look. This looks like a business-like beginning, doesn't it?
Yes, indeed. In his last contest, then he had a KO in the first round, didn't he, against Kristaps Bullmeisters back in November, Paul. He looked really good then, and I just think Ezra just wants to keep boxing, and very, very important to keep it going, really. And that's what I think this contest is all about. Just to keep his hand in there, to keep boxing is really, really important. Long periods of inactivity is the worst thing for a boxer, and he knows that, and that's why this bout has come about against a naturally smaller opponent, a southpaw, fairly awkward. So let's see how he goes. But yeah, it's all about keeping in the mix for Ezra Taylor in one of the most exciting divisions in British boxing at the moment.
Absolutely. It's all there for Taylor. It is only his 11th pro fight. Maybe the key word in what Richie gave us just now was the word southpaw, because Taylor did fight a southpaw last March, Prince Oko Nate. He won it, 4th round stoppage, but he didn't seem particularly happy with his own performance that night. Maybe he's learned a bit from that. The little half steps tell me he has learned a bit, Richie, early on.
So Maycock now, he's just trying to just smother him, isn't he? Getting up close, but he's mainly staying on the outside, and he's just trying to keep himself away from that right hand. And that's why he's always sort of going backwards, Maycock. It's difficult then to deliver that shot. I think Taylor has got to try and bring him onto it, and he just doesn't. He's all over the place, Maycock, at the moment, very ragged indeed. And this is important for Ezra Taylor, just to set up that backhand.
Yeah, but he's trying to mess him up, Richie, isn't he? It's not without a plan, this. It's not very pretty, but they've thought about it, and I think they've probably seen evidence in previous fights for Taylor, and let's do exactly this.
Maycock's got to watch what he's doing here, though, Paul. The way he's coming forward there, if he walks onto a right uppercut, it could be all over, because he hasn't got the best of defences.
Nonetheless, Taylor kept it long in that first round. Delighted to have Echo Esserman on the show tonight, and one of the reasons is because you and Taylor go back a very long way, don't you?
Oh, yes, we do. We were both at Bilbao Amateur Boxing Club, and I can see our old coach Ray Ricketts in the corner, as well as Angel. I think in this round you could tell the vast difference in size and height, but I think that didn't stop Maycock from coming out chucking absolute bombs. I think, as Richie said, he's coming forward, putting his weight over his lead foot. He's very open to the right uppercut, and Ezra has caught him with some of those inside in the pocket, and I think he can just work off it, because he needs to just work off getting those shots off and making him suffer when Maycock puts his weight over that lead foot and forces his way forward.
Seconds out. Round 2.
Sean McAvoy just puts Maycock on notice. I am watching you. He knows what he's up to. The referee does. Maycock's mission tonight, mess Taylor around.
Yeah, he's coming at late notice as well, Paul, hasn't he?
Fair
so
point,
we've got to give him credit for that. Taking this fight against an unbeaten prospect who, you know, he's just on the fringes of those top light heavies, your Callum Smith, Boatzis, Yard, Zach Parker, those type of boxers. Boxrec have got him down at 9, and obviously the British champion Louis Edmondson, British and Commonwealth champion, that's probably a fight that he would like. Similar experience that they both had in terms of the number of contests, so that's probably, he's got Louis Edmondson probably in his sights, and it would be a great fight, no doubt about it. But it's such an exciting division, some world-class boxers that we've got at light heavy in this country.
Taylor was doing his best to steal the show when it was Edmondson's big night in Bournemouth last weekend, with his histrionics in front of the TV cameras. Oh, I'm falling asleep watching this. None of it was Edmondson's fault. It was just the way that fight developed against a very inexperienced contender. He goes over Maycock, takes the knee, certainly a count.
5,
Wins a punch eventually. Tom, I'm not sure Maycock's going to make this. He's not going to make it. He's going to be counted out. And effortlessly, Ezra Taylor gets the job done. The first time he opens up, 1 or 2 of those shots were not to Ryan Maycock's liking. But as Richie called it in the first round, Maycock trying to mess his man around. He was open to all that. That's a fairly efficient show, Echo, is it not?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, you're speaking to the engine we want to be. We want to be efficient, and Maycock was definitely trying to be a spoiler, but when Edward just cleaned things up and was a little bit more patient, it gave him time to set up that short right hand that seemed to just prove why his nickname is his nickname.
That's the shot that did the damage. It was the body shot for me.
Yeah, the right uppercut, we spoke about it earlier, didn't we, that he'd be open to that. The way he was coming over.
Yeah, so open, Richie, wasn't he? Throwing his arms out there, rugby style, to try to close his man down.
And
he's leaving
himself right open and coming forward, you see, and that's why he was open to that shot that we spoke about. And it was a great shot. It was sort of into the midsection, into the chest, but the power of it is probably he probably would have preferred it to the head rather than to the solar plexus. But yeah, that was a good punch indeed from Taylor. He's got the job done. Remember, Maycock's coming at short notice, but Taylor still has gone through the process of the contest to keep himself sharp, because he knows there's bigger tests on the horizon, and he's got to keep boxing.
Yeah, probably go for a run around the streets after that as well, just to make sure that he's had a proper night's work. It was rather effortless.
Oh yeah, definitely looked that way. He definitely let that right hand go.
A lot of energy still to burn off the way it did finish there. I think this is the mentality he has to operate with from now on, Echo. What do you say? It's right. The fight is coming up. I've got to be there, got to be ready, got to show I want to work. Back to you in a moment. Here's Mark Burdis.
Ladies and gentlemen, at 1 minute 25 seconds of the second round, the contest has been stopped. The winner by KO in the blue corner from Nottingham, Ezra the Cannon Taylor. And a round of applause for the gallant Ryan Haycock.
So Taylor gets the job done. It goes in the book as a very straightforward win, but he was in against a man who was determined to try to mess him round. It worked for one round for Maycock. Taylor picked him off very, very efficiently. Echo, I'll go back to you first.
Yeah.
What next, in your view? What should happen next for Taylor?
He needs to be given better opposition. He needs to be given the fight that he wants, really. That should be a good test for him, but that also opens him up to owning the British title, and that's such a coveted title. It's for some people it's their world title match. So that would be a brilliant fight and belt for him to attain and win.
And as Richie has rightly pointed out, so many names they could match him with. Richie, does he deserve to be in the conversation with the ones you've named?
Well, I think, you know, if you couldn't go with Louis Edmondson, I think a Lyndon Arthur fight now, that would be a cracker.
Another great call, Richie. Yeah, what a job that would be. Over to Ollie Bethel.
Ezra the Cannon Taylor, second round stoppage, comprehensive victory, but he came for a scrap.
Yeah, he did, man, he did, but that's what it's about, man. You don't know what they're going to come with, so you just got to be making sure that you're, you know what I'm saying, equipped for the job, and I just taking my time in there, man, just practicing my defence and then seeing the counter when it came.
So we move on now to May, Troy Jones Jr. Big fight for you in Nottingham. Win that, and we're on to Louis Edmondson.
Yeah, we're on to Louis Edmondson, man. But you know what? Hey, Troy's game, and I can't wait, man. I'm so excited to fight back in my hometown, Nottingham, and do the city justice, man. I'm going to win that fight. I'm going to win all my next fights. I'm here to stay. I'm going a long way, and it's nice, man. It's good. I'm enjoying it.
Final tick-off tonight, fighting on Box Nation for the first time. Enjoyed it?
Yeah, man. Big up Box Nation, big up Ollie, big up Bobby, big up all the Warriors. Bloody hell, there's too many of them. But hey, it's good, man. This is the best York Hall show I've seen. That ring walkout was cold. You got sparkles and all of that. Hey, you lot are doing a great job, man. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you for everyone who tuned in, the supporters who came, the supporters who are supporting from far. Hey, it's the best, man. But glory to God, man. I wouldn't be here without the Lord.
Ezra Taylor, congratulations. Back to Dev Sani in the presenting area.
I'll tell you what, Ezra Taylor was bigging everyone up there. Big up Ezra Taylor as well. That was a pretty devastating performance there, Tunde.
Yeah, I mean, I was shouting, box, use your skill, throw the straight right hand. And yeah, I mean, I've got a little soft spot for Ez. You know, he's a young man, he looks the part, he speaks well, and he understands that in today's climate, it's more than just being able to fight. You have to be able to speak well, present yourself in a way where people like you. And I don't think there's much to dislike about Ezra.
He looks the part.
Yes.
He speaks well.
Yes.
He's got a bit of a pop.
Yes.
He's a light heavyweight.
Yeah.
He's with Queensbury.
Yeah,
Does he remind you of anyone?
Oh, yeah. No, he don't remind me of, definitely not anyone around me. But what he does remind me of is a young, ambitious, well-spoken young man who really wants to go far in the sport of boxing.
Yeah, 100%. He's got that. And it sounds like next up for him is Troy Jones. Now, that's another unbeaten light heavyweight. That will be a bit of a test.
That's a good fight. Yeah. That is a good fight. And I know Troy and I know Lee personally. You know, Troy's been down, sparred with AY, Anthony Yard. I don't think I need to say that.
Needs no introduction. Come on, we know AY.
And it's going to be a good fight, a good learning fight, a good fight where we can assess both fighters. You know, a lot of these fighters nowadays, they're not taking on challenges early in their career. Let's get it right. It's early in the career of both young men. So Troy, that's a real fantastic fight. I don't know if it's going to be on Box Nation, if it's going to be on DAZN.
That'll be on DAZN, mate.
Yeah. But that's a fantastic fight. And may the best man win.
Yeah, 100%. I love seeing the challenges that these guys are taking on.
Yeah.
Tell me this, you have a very watchful eye when it comes to light heavyweights.
Yes.
Anthony Yard, of course, is your man. But tell me, how good, from what you've seen, is Ezra Taylor?
And you know, it's like I was just telling a young fighter at ringside. I remember when Mitchell Smith turned pro. And unfortunately, he had some troubles outside the ring. He's come back tonight. But the most important thing for me and advising all young fighters, and really just when answering questions like the one you just asked, is that their destiny lies in their hands with consistency. If he's consistent, if he stays in the gym, if he doesn't get too overjoyous over tonight's victory, he can go a long way.
Tell me this, because there's he was in Bournemouth last week for Louis Edmondson. Louis Edmondson is the British and Commonwealth champion.
Yeah.
You were there.
Yeah.
They were around each other a lot. There were a lot of words exchanged.
Yeah.
That's not his next fight. His next fight is someone else. So is this a distraction that he's being linked so much with Louis Edmondson in the future?
Well, it's so funny because me and Ezra were sitting ringside, and I was really talking to him from like an uncle perspective, and I'm saying, I love what you're doing, but keep your head and your feet. Your head in the right place and your feet on the ground, because this is professional boxing. It has to be taken professionally. Do not ever overlook the opponent you've got in front of you. Louis Edmondson is a fight that ultimately I thought will happen. I'm sure Troy Jones will have something to say about that, but he has to focus on Troy, because Troy can fight.
100%. Being back here at York Hall with this logo in front, does it remind you of some good old days?
Listen, my man, what's my man's name? With the MC.
That's Mark Burdiss. Let's tell them about Mark Burdiss.
Hey, Mark Burdiss, I remember he's done some of Anthony's early fights,
he's a legend
He's
to
a
me.
legend.
And I was saying to young Joe Kadua tonight, I said, like, it just shows the foresight of Frank Warren. Frank Warren foresaw all of this stuff early. He was the man who bought this Box Nation, decided to have it on this digital platform, and it shows you. Frankie Blue Eyes, well, everyone knows anyway. Frankie Blue Eyes is the man. But it's so great to see all the old faces, and it's really the Box Nation platform. It's a fantastic, and I've said it over and over again, Paul Dempsey, Richie Woodall, probably one of the most knowledgeable broadcasters and fight analysts in the sport. And to be involved in the Box Nation platform is great. It's just a wonderful position that these young men find themselves in at this stage of their career, because ultimately most times there's no TV cameras, so we're now getting a chance to see these young men at the beginning of their journeys who ultimately want to go on to bigger and better things.
Well, the main event tonight is Sean Noakes coming up very, very shortly.
This is what I'm looking at, mate.
Yeah, I mean, this is his first time headlining. He's
Yes.
unbeaten so far. Anthony Yard at one point had his first time headlining. Extra nerves, extra pressure. Like, what do you think will be going through the mind of Sean Noakes?
Well, I mean, every fighter takes it differently. I must admit, I've never seen Ant nervous, but he did tell me when we went to Russia, that was the first time he felt his legs twiggle. It's like, hold on, what's going on there?
I thought he was dancing.
Yeah, you remember he was dancing. But Ant was saying, Ant wouldn't mind me saying this. Yeah. You imagine growing up watching someone like Roy Jones to headlining a show in Russia, Chelyabinsk, and walking down that aisle and turning to your right hand side and seeing Roy Jones sitting down. That can give anyone nerves, because it's like, nah, I've got to perform now. So, I mean, this isn't Russia, this isn't Chelyabinsk, this is a headline against Sergey Kovalev, Ring Magazine 2-time Fighter of the Year. But all the same, it is a massive, massive occasion for Sean, young Sean, and I'm happy for him. His brother's doing big things, and he's a welterweight, so I have to watch him for Joe Kadua.
Oh, so you have got a bit of an eye on what's going on. Of course, he's the English champion. You've got Joel Kadua as well, same weight division. So you are kind of watching him not just as a fan tonight, but as a potential future foe.
1,000,000%. Joel Kadua, I tell you, I've not trained many fighters in the last 6-7 years. Only and I don't waste time with guys that I'm not, in my opinion, going to win world titles. And Joe had his breakout fight. I mean, Tony Sims said it to me. He said, yeah, they don't know, but I've known Joe for a long time. And Joe is just a hard worker, and I fully expect him to be challenging for some welterweight title by the end of the year. So we'll wait and see. Sean is a great fighter. It'll be a massive fight, Sean Noakes against Joe Padua. But one we may see.
Well, the man who is challenging for the English welterweight championship is ready. I can see him. Jermaine Osbourne-Edwards is about to make his ring walk. They call him the Kundalini King, and you're going to love this. Here comes the main event. Let's head back to Mark Burdiss.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening, the English Welterweight Championship. Please welcome into the ring the challenger from Wolverhampton. He's the Kundalini King, Jermaine Osbourne-Edwards.
The job tonight for Jermaine Osbourne-Edwards is to look the business in the ring. He certainly looks the business out of the ring. It's not a gimmick, all this. We hope to get the time to explain some of the methodology behind the costume. On drums, incidentally, serving as the accompanist tonight is his father. Some will say that the Native American headdress and the costume is a gimmick. There's more to it than that, everybody. He has done the genealogical research. He believes he is related to Native American blood. And moreover, he has looked deeply into the spiritual side of life to find meaning.
And please welcome into the ring the English welterweight champion from Maidstone, Kent, Sean
One of Britain's current leading fighting families, represented here tonight at the top of the bill by Sean Noakes, who seeks to defend his English welterweight title. Little brother Sam is playing a supporting role tonight. Sam, one of our most highly rated stars in any weight division.
Ladies and gentlemen, WBM and Trinity Entertainment, sponsored by Advest and I'm Not Vanilla, are proud to present the main event of the evening. 10 3-minute rounds for the English Welterweight Championship, live and exclusive on Box Nation via YouTube. Your officials have been appointed by the British Boxing Board of Control. Your supervisor this evening is Mr. Ben Harmsworth. Your timekeeper at the bell is Mr. Jason Booth. And your 3 judges at ringside are Mr. Terry O'Connor, Mr. Sean McAvoy and Mr. Phil Edwards. And when the action begins, your referee in the middle is Mr. Chris Jones. And now to introduce the contestants. Firstly, in the red corner, with a record of 11 wins, 1 by way of knockout and 1 loss, weighing in 146 pounds 9 ounces, and tonight he wears the black and gold shorts with white trim. Please welcome from Wolverhampton, the Kundalini King, Jermaine Osbourne-Edwards. And moving across the ring into the blue corner stands the champion, unbeaten with 9 wins, 4 by way of knockout to his name, weighing in 146 pounds 5 ounces, and tonight he wears the black and gold shorts. Please welcome from Maidstone, Kent, the English welterweight champion, Sean Noakes. Your referee, Chris Jones, now gives his final instructions to both boxers.
Spoke to you both in the dressing room. You know exactly what I want. Obey my word of command at all times. Defend yourself at all times. All your punches above the waist. Any questions blue? Any questions red? Touch gloves. Good luck, boys.
Ladies and gentlemen, 10 3-minute rounds for the English Welterweight Championship.
For the first round.
The main event here tonight at the York Hall, Bethnal Green, live on Box Nation YouTube channel, as Sean Noakes seeks now to become a dominant English champion in the welterweight division. Noakes defended in fairly impressive fashion, I must say, December 2024 against Matthew Rennie. He's been made into a championship fighter with big wins over Indabasi and the victory over Rennie, and defended in style up to this point, Richie. Against him tonight, bag of tricks he may be, Jermaine Osbourne-Edwards, an often erratic path to a big career opportunity it may have been, but could he have something up his sleeve tonight to trouble Sean Noakes?
Edwards is no mug, Paul, and he's really turned his life around, hasn't he? He was in, he'll admit it himself, he was in one of the worst gangs in Wolverhampton at one point, and you know, he left that sort of scene and he got his act together, and yeah, he turned to the spiritual side of things, but he really has turned his life around. He's got a great relationship with Richie Carter. I know Richie really well. Used to box as a middleweight when I was boxing from Wolverhampton. Good kid, solid kid, and he's got a great relationship with him. So he's played a massive part in turning him around as well. And you know, he's decent. He's only lost the one contest in his last one against Ethan James. So yes, he's a decent southpaw. So this is a little bit of a test for Sean Noakes.
Actually had more pro fights than Sean Noakes, and one of the other themes of the night, fellas getting a second shot at making it. Another of the new elements in this new landscape in professional boxing. The opportunities for the guys who do the business are manifest all around us these days. Sean readily admits that the little brother Sam was totally focused on his boxing when Sean maybe lost the appetite for a while. There was an odd mention of a pub and a nightclub in there somewhere when there were a couple of kids in Maidstone. Understandable, but totally back on track. Been really impressed. Dogged, determined, methodical, Richie, over the last 3-4 years.
Yeah, I think in his last couple of contests as well, because he's gone 10 rounds in his last 2 contests, then he's starting to mature a little bit now, Sean Noakes. Obviously at 29, still lots of time left for him. Excuse me, but he's not that experienced, but that's what I mean by that. Those last 2 contests, Paul, will have done him the world of good, going that 10 rounds. Really, really important in this stage of his career.
Noakes, never been one to rush it, had a good look at what he's facing tonight. Jermaine Osbourne-Edwards from Wolverhampton, and our special contributor tonight is Eko Essuman, who has been the top-ranked British welterweight over the last few years. How are you seeing it?
I'm seeing it like they were both looking to see what they could get away with. I think Sean was sending the feelers out there, seeing what kind of a southpaw he had in front of him. Osbourne, he had a high guard. He was taking a lot on his guard. It was only towards the end of the round that he started to let some of his shots go a little bit. I think with them both warming into it with the number of rounds they have, it's a smart thing to do. I think we will see this match unfold as the rounds go by.
I wonder if Jermaine Osbourne-Edwards trying to score a little point by standing up between the rounds.
Seconds out.
It could be something to make him seem like he's more fit than he is.
Round 2.
Yeah, exactly. Mickey Barrett and Alec Wilkie were looking over the rope in the other corner at him, going, what's he up to over there? So round 2. A scouting mission by the champion in the opening round.
Not a lot in that opening round either, Paul. You know, it could have gone either way. I thought Noakes probably just nicked it, but certainly not a lot in the round at all. I think he'll soon realise he's probably got to box at a faster tempo here. I think the slower tempo will suit Osbourne-Edwards because you can see these attacks coming. So this is where Noakes seems to do his better work when he's up close. But to do that, you've got to box at a fast tempo because you're in punching range. So for him, it's short and mid-range, I think. I think he'll soon work that out, that if he lets Osbourne-Edwards get into a rhythm behind that jab and keeps it mid to long, then Edwards could have some success. So I think Noakes has got to up the work rate to get to Osbourne-Edwards, who's very capable on the outside with those crisp long jabs.
The Noakes family here in numbers as usual, including Mom. Don't know how she does it, quite honestly. She's always there.
Yeah, great family, aren't they? And supporting each other, and Mum's always there supporting her boys.
And if in doubt, Richie, if it comes down to it, Sam and Sean, they're 2 tough kids, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
If
indeed.
it becomes that kind of a fight.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah, they are.
They won't shirk that side of it. Still from the outside, Osbourne-Edwards, not as seasoned in terms of the level of his opposition. He's having a good hard look himself at Noakes. Noakes is not giving him many angles to work off, Richie.
No, he's not, and Osbourne-Edwards has just got to get his timing right, like with that shot there. Keep the elbows tucked in nicely. There's a nice little left uppercut reply there from Edwards also. So, like I said, I just think he'll prefer a slower pace so we can see the attacks coming. And Noakes, for me, has got to do the opposite. He's got to double up his jab a little bit more and, yeah, let his hands go when he's in close.
That was impressive. Noakes is beginning to show us what he's got. I'm not certain that Osbourne-Edwards is going to be comfortable, Richie, if the tempo does go up.
That's what I mean, Paul. I think it'll suit Noakes better, and certainly it'll give Osbourne-Edwards more problems if it's a quicker pace.
He's not to be overlooked, the challenger here tonight, however. It's only one defeat, remember.
That was a nice shot on the inside there. A little short left up from Noakes. Osbourne-Edwards just allowed him to get close then. That was a nice, nice left-hand lead there with that hook.
So it's beginning to warm up. Just a reminder to everybody that the defeat, Echo, for Osbourne-Edwards was over 10 hard rounds against another capable operator, Ethan James. At the moment, I sense that this could become the same kind of a fight.
Yeah, quite possibly. Although we did have a busier start to that second round. Noakes, as Richie mentioned and you both mentioned, needs to break that distance and really start to ramp up his work rate. But maybe he wants to set into that as he knows how many rounds he has in front of him. Osbourne does look like he does have some physicality to him when they're both on the inside. I saw a little few shoves and some good heavy counters, but he needs to up his work rate if he wants to make a dent in the match too.
Corners, 10 seconds.
The cleaner work is coming from Sean,
seconds
as
out,
well as the amount of it.
Round 3.
Thank you, Echo. Haven't got time to mention all the other titles that Echo Esserman has picked up at welterweight, in addition to the historic British and Commonwealth welterweight titles. The English champion Noakes walking his man down, the southpaw Osbourne-Edwards. He certainly worked him out now, hasn't he, Richie, after that initial reconnaissance period?
Knows he's got to get up close, doesn't he?
Yeah.
That's the way you do that. Certainly he needs probably a little bit more head movement, does Noakes. What he's trying to do now, he's just trying to draw the lead of Osbourne-Edwards, and then he's trying to then come back with counter. There you go, right on cue. So you've seen Osbourne-Edwards throw a shot, and then Noakes very quickly just comes back with the counter.
Footwork's been really good, actually, so far tonight from Noakes.
Yeah, he's quick movements in with the feet.
Yes.
He's got to watch the switch, because occasionally he goes from orthodox to southpaw. He's got to watch that, because when you're doing that, Paul, your feet will always come square at some point, and that's when you can get caught with a shot and then you're off balance. But he's quick with his feet. He makes the choices, and then he goes and then throws the punches. Like I say, quick movement, quick hand speed, I think will suit him better.
He's just started to pressure Osbourne-Edwards a little bit, because he's getting his left boot outside of the right boot of the southpaw.
I think what we probably need to see from Osbourne-Edwards is occasionally push Noakes back. You don't see that very often. It's mainly Noakes that's doing the front running. So for Osbourne-Edwards, then just occasionally just remind the judges that, you know, he's well in it, and just push the opponent back. And that's what I think he could do with, because he's constantly sort of going backwards, or he's holding his feet. He's not really coming forward, and he needs to do that a little bit better.
3 scoring judges, remember, for this 10 rounds English welterweight title. There's Gray, McAvoy and O'Connor. Cannot get the shots off at the moment, is Osbourne-Edwards.
No, and also Noakes at the moment probably leading a little bit too much with the backhand, Paul. So he's got to use his lead hand a little bit more, just to measure that distance before he throws that right hand. He's falling short occasionally with it. Remember, in the orthodox southpaw situation, the rear hands of both boxers have to travel a little bit further to the target. That was better. Then he got the distance right.
It would appear as though he is impressing the judges. My error, forgive me. Phil Edwards, of course, is the third judge tonight, along with Terry O'Connor and Sean McAvoy. Our expert judge to my left, Echo Esserman. How are you scoring it first, actually?
I think Noakes is up at the moment, definitely. As Richie mentioned, he keeps shifting his weight, but also showing Osbourne that he can, in fact, attack him from both stances. And Osbourne looks very calm and collected, but he needs to light a fire in himself, because often a good defense is a really good offense, and if he sets about that, it'll make the match and a bit more of a good contest.
You make a great point. As a veteran of many championship rounds at this stage in your
Corners,
career,
10
when you're dropping 3 or 4 rounds, you're putting yourself under so much pressure, aren't you?
Seconds
You're
out.
putting yourself under pressure to win it back, and then that's when you can
Round
make silly
4.
mistakes.
So 3 in. Would it be fair to say, Richie, that I don't think many would give Jermaine Osbourne-Edwards one of those rounds just yet?
No, I've got Sean Noakes 3 up. There wasn't a lot in the first round, but the last 2 rounds, I think, again, fairly close, but you can see that Noakes has probably done the better work. And like I said, we need Osbourne-Edwards just to push Noakes back a little bit and be a little bit more competitive and start throwing a few more shots. But nevertheless, he's still in it and still fairly dangerous. He's certainly someone you can't write off at this stage. Decent technique from Osbourne-Edwards. But I'd just like to see him do a little bit more, Paul. And probably there's a lot of singles coming from him. I mean, let's double up a little bit, maybe 2s and 3s occasionally.
The problem with that, though, Richie, is there's not much evidence to say he's a really sharp puncher. There's only 1 stoppage victory in his pro career to date.
Yeah, very much so. It's not a big puncher at all, but a tough kid. And like I say, got decent technique, but needs to throw more shots. Punches in bunches, I think.
Settling into his rhythm, Sean Noakes. And looking mighty impressive so far.
Yeah, and you tend to get the feeling now that he is gaining more confidence, Noakes, and he feels that he's the one that's got to up the pace and start doing something, because he probably feels that Osbourne-Edwards is just content to stay on the outside. Lovely lead left uppercut that was from Noakes. So I think Noakes is he's taking the initiative here, up in the pace and starting to just let his hands go a little bit more here.
For me, though, Richie, you know better than I, but it is the footwork which is the key to this fight. The southpaw style is not a problem for Noakes.
No. Well, he moves the feet in nice and quickly. One shot he's got to watch out for is that little left uppercut from Osbourne-Edwards.
Yeah, but we're not seeing it enough, are we? And I'm not sure there's a lot of conviction in it, really.
No, but having said that, Paul, very often a punch can be doubled up weight-wise if the opponent's coming forward.
Or drops into it.
Yeah, and Sean Noakes does that occasion, doesn't he? Sometimes his feet will cross, he'll come forward very quickly to surprise the attack. Look, he's got away with that there, but that was an example then. If you could have just connected that left uppercut, then that's a decent shot because Noakes is coming forward.
That's why I think he's got to believe in it a bit more, Osbourne-Edwards.
Yeah, he has, I agree.
It's a bit of an afterthought at the moment. But boxing from the outside is not going to work here from the look of it.
No, and that's what I say. He's quite content to stay on the outside, and that's a good shot from Noakes. And Noakes, I think, he's feeling that he's the one that should up the... This fight is there for the taking. That's why I think he's up in the work rate.
Did drop again just with the very last shot of the round, but again, no harm befalls Sean Noakes. He walks back to his corner with a smile on his face. Is he right to be smiling so far, Echo?
Yes, I would say so, because I would say to Osbourne, you have to remember, you can't just beat a champion, you have to beat the belt off them.
You cannot nick it. Dead right.
You can't just nick it. So Osbourne needs to turn the screw, but Sean's shapes are looking very great and awkward, and that's possibly part of what's putting off Osbourne at the moment. He did drop a good shot in at the dying second of the round, but I don't think that will bother Sean, seeing as he's had the minute between the round to rest and recoup anyway.
Corners, 10 seconds.
Fair amount of know-how in both
Seconds
corners,
out.
Burke and Wilkie for Noakes. And as
Round
Richie has
5.
mentioned, Richie Carter in the challenger's corner tonight. Carter once the Midlands area super middleweight champion. He's got Ollie Cooper holding that title now, and he fights in Wolverhampton on Saturday night.
Yeah, he's got a decent stable of boxers, Richie Carter. There's some good kids, and he's a good coach. He's Richie, puts a lot into the community, and he's done a lot for the amateur boxing as well. So he's a good kid, Richie Carter, nice fella, and a boxing man through and through.
Retired at the age of 22, I believe, Carter.
Yeah, I know Richie quite well, and he said that he couldn't stay disciplined. You know, he liked to go out, and you know, he was quite an exciting fighter, was Richie, but he said he just couldn't stick with the discipline, and that's what you've got to do, Paul. That's so important. Being a pro, you've got to be disciplined, and you've got to train hard and live the good life, mate.
That at times has been in question from Osbourne-Edwards' point of view, but looking to seize this opportunity tonight. At the moment, I'm afraid to say, the opportunity is slipping through his grasp, the way Noakes has fought through the first half of this.
Well, I think Noakes is probably waiting for Osbourne-Edwards to up the pace and really have a go, but it seems to be the same tempo, the same pace from the challenger, and he's quite content, like I say, just to see these rounds out. Maybe he thinks he'll tire Sean Noakes out, I don't know, but we've got to see a tempo change from Osbourne-Edwards if he's going to win the contest, because he is behind.
Did move off the ropes very nicely indeed there, the challenger. It's been an easy one for the referee Chris Jones so far. Keep your shape, they're saying to Osbourne-Edwards from the corner. He's reaching a lot with that left hand, isn't he, Rich?
Yeah, he is,
not scoring very often. That was a very solid right hand. There was a bit of a double effect on that one, Richie, actually, in favour of Noakes.
I've often thought about Osbourne-Edwards, Paul. There doesn't seem to be a lot of power in his backhand. He might be a right-handed southpaw, you see. And when he first got into the gym, most coaches would turn you, if you were right-handed, would turn you around as an orthodox boxer. But if you look at the power in his left hand, there doesn't seem to be a lot of power there. It's all with the right hand. See, there doesn't seem to be any real intention with that backhand when he throws it. And it's the lead hand that does all his best work. So like I say, he might be a right-handed southpaw.
Noakes dominant throughout. In recent weeks, we've seen Sam Noakes defending British Commonwealth and European titles against Ryan Walsh at lightweight, looking more and more mature. I'm tempted to say the same about Big Brother tonight, what we've witnessed so far, Echo.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I was thinking Osbourne was trying to start to throw maybe a few more lefts in that round. Maybe Richie was right, and he wants to pile the pressure on in the second half of the fight. But I feel like Sean has built up a nice accruement of rounds now, and he's got that confidence behind him, so I think he's going to himself start to turn the screw.
Corners, 10 seconds. Seconds
Full
out.
focus in the Noakes corner. It's gone very well so far.
Round 6.
The plans of Osbourne-Edwards and his camp are not coming to fruition here.
I think Noakes knows he's ahead, and his corner, that will be telling him that to keep his spirits high. He's boxing well, but at some stage he might decide to go to the next level and up the pace himself. Noakes, at the moment, he's winning, yes, but he may, like I say, just want to go through the gears and test Osbourne-Edwards in terms of his fitness, because we know that both the Noakeses, they're known for their fitness, real fit kids.
Yeah.
And there's an old saying, you don't leave it in the gym, Paul. When you box, you let your hands go. And so that's what we might see from him at some stage. He might just go through the gears.
That would be interesting if he were to do that, because it would lay down a calling card to all the 12-round fighters that might be coming his way. This is 10 rounds tonight for the English title. Dominating performance so far tonight from Sean Noakes. Does start to up it. impressively. Osbourne-Edwards is giving ground and taking a lot of shots here.
Yeah, some good work, especially with the left hook from Noakes. Osbourne-Edwards got to keep that right hand nice and high because that left hook's getting through. There it is again, look, he's trying to get that shot home, and that's probably the more dangerous punch that's going across the target, remember. The right hand, Osbourne-Edwards can see it coming, he'll take that shot, but that left hook, it's out of the line of vision, and that's the more dangerous punch here.
Richie, we may have found out what they were saying to him in the corner. Listen, just work your way into the round and then about halfway through, open up.
Yeah.
That's what's happened.
Well, we spoke about it, didn't we? That we may see him just up the pace, and he's certainly gone through the gears in this round.
And doesn't he look good doing this?
Yeah, he knows he's got to get up close, you see, and we said that right from the word go, that this could be a contest where he'd have to go short to mid, get up close to the opponent and up the pace. We said it right from the word go, and now he's doing it.
This so far tonight is a performance which I think tells us that there's a lot more to come from Sean Noakes in terms of where his ambitions should lie. He is the boss in every department in this fight.
Yeah, he just got caught with a little short left uppercut from Osbourne-Edwards. Nice little reply from him there. But nevertheless, yeah, the momentum is with the champion. This has been a good, dominant round, and he's certainly up the tempo here.
There's just not enough in the shots of Jermaine Osbourne-Edwards to stop the rhythm of Sean Noakes. Was that his best round for you, Echo?
Oh yeah, I was just thinking that definitely would have been one of his best rounds when he turned the screw, as we said the round before, and you could tell that him coming forward and playing with Osbourne's guard was definitely making a difference. Osbourne did have his little successes with a few good counters, however, I think Sean's momentum is definitely on his side.
Every fighter has nights when it feels easy, when you feel on top of your game. What is that like?
Oh, you just have to train, so even on your worst night, it still guarantees a win. Your worst night is a good performance. You can't train to perfection, but in my gym,
corners,
my
10
always
seconds.
tells me it's not about what you can do when you're fresh, it's about what you can do when you're tired.
Seconds out.
Thank you very much indeed. But so far it's not hard, it's
Round
straightforward
7
for Sean Noakes. And already we're into the 7th round. 4 to go. Even if he were to win all 4, I don't know that it's going to be enough from here, Richie, for Jermaine Osbourne-Edwards.
Yeah, it's getting really, really tough now, isn't it, for Osbourne-Edwards? He's lost most of the rounds, if not all of them. And in that last round there's some bad signs for him and good signs for Sean Noakes. So let's see how Osbourne-Edwards responds now.
Gets a little round of applause for his endeavours there in that exchange. That's what they need to see from him. There's a tremendous bond between himself and Richie Carter, I understand, at the Wolverhampton Boxing Club. Everybody else shut their doors on me, is what Osbourne-Edwards said. A good win to claim the Midlands area title. That was half a division down at super lightweight.
Yeah, that was against Jamie Stewart from Stoke. I was actually able to show that last night in Jamie Stewart box. He's a real good, tough kid, Stewart from Stoke. Trained by Scott Lawton, an old pro that boxed Amir Khan once. For Jamie Stewart, so that was a good win for Osbourne-Edwards, winning the Midland title and giving some experience as well over the 10 rounds distance. And that's what I say. These two are fairly similar in their experience, Paul. Over 10 rounds, they've both been 10 rounds a couple of times.
Yes.
And the same number of contests. So that's why it's a good even match on paper. This is.
There's still the possibility, of course, that this is just a bit too soon for Jermaine Osbourne-Edwards in terms of exposure at this level, Richie. I know he's 35 years of age, but we also know there's been a lot of missed years. But he might come out of this a much better operator.
Absolutely, of course he will, because he's a positive kid, you know, and I speak to Richie about him, and he's told me, you know, he's a very positive lad. So even after his first defeat against Ethan James, he's back in the gym, he's learning, and at 35, you know, he's turned his life around. So he'll be positive no matter what happens here tonight. He's got a very positive outlook of things, which is great. You know, and you learn from it. You know what, Paul, sometimes in boxing, you lose a contest, you think you're going backwards, but you actually go forwards.
Yeah.
So the experience of this, being at your core, in front of the lights, in front of the cameras, against a good opponent, yeah, he will improve no matter what tonight.
I am seeing a man who is capable of higher honours than the English title here, this performance tonight from Sean Noakes. And I think that's something that Francis Warren has been saying about him for a year or two, that there's a lot of untapped talent. We know obviously about Sam, but maybe Big Brother's catching him up.
Yeah, well, I think it's been a quieter round for Sean this round, to be fair. He put a lot into the previous round, and that was a quieter round, a better round for Osbourne-Edwards.
Did he get one back at last, do you think, Echo? The challenger?
Yeah, possibly. I think Sean might have taken a round off in that round. He might be recouping for this next round, 8, 9, 10 coming up. Osbourne did have more success, but really, if he wants to really stamp his name in this match, he really needs to turn his screw and put a lot more into it at the moment.
Hasn't used the stool once in the other corner.
Corners, 10 seconds.
Yeah, it can be a psychological boost, can't it? That?
Seconds out.
Fair play to him, he's fit like.
Round 8.
Noakes can almost see the finish line in a race where he's well in front. 3 to go. Better moments, yes, for Osbourne-Edwards in that last round. But he's got to go for it. 1 or 2 shots, big shots, were they to land? Who knows? There may still be time to turn it round.
Yeah, he had a bit of success in that last round, so let's see if he's going to be confident in this round and start pushing Noakes back a little bit more. Certainly a better round and a quieter round for Noakes that last round.
He's tired, they're telling Osbourne-Edwards.
So maybe Noakes is just feeling the pace a little bit.
It's a possibility, Richie, the way he sat on the stool at the end of that last round, Sean Noakes. But all well and good, he's a proven operator at this distance. He'll find a way through it, and really the question surely is whether Osbourne-Edwards will now have the self-belief to try and expose any questionable fitness.
Is, he's losing the contest, and he should know that, and the corner will know that. So he's really got to pour it on now, Osbourne-Edwards. This is a little bit better from him.
It is a little bit better, Richie.
Just a lack of power in that backhand, Paul.
Yeah.
Just a lack of power. I think his jab, his lead hand, is a more powerful shot than the backhand, to be quite honest. Occasionally he's a little bit too flat-footed, is Osbourne-Edwards. Just needs to get on his toes a little bit more. But nevertheless, he's a little bit more confident in this round again. So it's making for a good contest. But as we say, that Noakes goes through the gears better.
Now he's back at it. And he's wobbled his man. The straight right hand. Osbourne-Edwards didn't take it well, and Noakes goes for the finish. The referee, Chris Jones, has taken a close look, and the referee stops it. Sean Noakes suddenly exploded into life again after a little lull, and he produces a very impressive stoppage at the end of a very impressive display all round. A dominant English welterweight champion defends his title in style.
What a response there from Noakes. The previous round wasn't such a good round, and responded in the right manner there. Went through the gears, caught him with a lovely right hand there, and again. And Osbourne-Edwards was in trouble here. Gets him in the corner. Tough kick, Osbourne-Edwards. But look at Noakes really going for it. Referee's looking. Couple of shots, one more, and the referee jumps in, and quite rightly so. Went through the gears and turned it around in that round. Good performance from Sean Noakes.
Good performance also in that moment from the referee, Chris Jones. Lots of hard lessons learned tonight by Jermaine Osbourne-Edwards in championship class. Slow start, behind, surely, on the cards. We'll find out soon enough. Sam's in there celebrating with his big brother. Big brother looked really impressive for most of the early rounds. Maybe went off the boil a little bit. There were moments of encouragement. Osbourne-Edwards does have the potential, that's clear. Needs to go away and work on his strengths and nullify some of the weaknesses. But Sean Noakes looks more and more like a championship fighter, as Echo, beyond 10-round level. Would you agree with that?
I think, yeah, he possibly could. He definitely picked his moment in this fight to be the shark. He smelled blood, and he definitely was a shark about it.
Ladies and gentlemen, at 2 minutes 7 seconds of round 8, your referee has stopped the contest. He deemed Jermaine Osbourne-Edwards was in no position to continue. The winner and the English welterweight champion from Maidstone, Kent, Sean Noakes.
The story.
And a round of applause for the brave and gallant Jermaine Osbourne-Edwards.
Sam, potential world star in the making. We hope that that is how it plays out, but he is only a figure in the background tonight, as Sean Noakes, for me, produced the best in his career. And Richie, I think one last word from you, please, on that. Where could he go, Sean?
Well, at 29, you know, he's 10-0 now. He'll be looking most certainly at a British title shot in probably the next 2 years, Paul. Maybe in the next year. The thing is to keep boxing, to keep actually performing, and to get more fights under his belt. Remember, Conor Walker is the British champion from Wolverhampton also. What's he got? He's had about 18 or 19 contests, so he's not too far behind. He probably needs 2 or 3 more fights at this level, and then look towards a British title shot. And why not? It's a great division, you know, your Lewis Crockers, your Eubanks, the Conor Walkers, the Echo, of course, Pat McCormack. He's nowhere in Echo's sort of league at the moment because of Echo's experience. But he will look towards the British title after 3 or 4 more fights at this level, most definitely.
Richie, brilliant as always. Thank you very much. Echo, to you, I want to say what a pleasure it has been having you with us tonight. It would be wrong of us to bid you farewell without mentioning what your plan is, and there is big news. Please tell us.
Yes, I will be boxing Josh Taylor on May the 24th up in Glasgow at the SSE Hydro Arena. I'm going into the Lions Den, but you know me, I thrive in it. Throw me in the Lions Den, I'll come back with the Lions mane. That's what I do.
I know there's still a lot left in you as a fighter, but you're pretty good at being an analyst. Let me tell you.
I definitely
Well done, brilliant tonight. Thank you very, very much indeed. What a great fight to look forward to against Josh Taylor. But tonight belongs to Sean Noakes, and Ollie is speaking to him now.
Sean, congratulations. The big question tonight was, could you handle the pressure of being in the main event? You answered that comprehensively.
I didn't like waiting around. It's much nicer when you're in and out and gone. But yeah, no, it was a nice experience to be last on. And the main event sounded good, didn't it? And all the little lights was to come down. It was lovely. So I thoroughly enjoyed it.
When I first walked up to you just then, you said it was a tougher fight than you thought.
Yeah, it was tough. I thought I hit that left hook. And his legs were a bit bandy. I thought, oh, I got him here. But he covered up well, beat down, tough man. Credit to himself and his coaches.
Going back to being in the main event, how's fight week been for you? In the spotlight, the main man, head of the show. Anything different about it?
No, to be fair, it's been even easier. Like, the weight was easy. Everything with Mick goes smoothly. He only moans at me a lot. So, yeah, it's all right.
And lastly, what's next for you, Sean?
What's next
for you?
We're seriously considering going down to light welter. It's a serious consideration. We're going to talk to my nutritionist after this. Because I'm eating in the morning the weigh-ins. And I believe I can make that comfortably. So we're talking to nutritionists, see where they go from there. If we can do it, we can do it. If it's going to be too hard, I'll stay here. I'm strong enough at welterweight. You can see I'm strong enough at welterweight. So, yeah, but I say we're seriously considering going down.
Sean, listen, congratulations tonight. Sean Noakes, still your English welterweight champion. Back to Dev Sani in the presenting area.
Well, great stuff. Sean Noakes, emphatic performance. I'm joined by perhaps the happiest men in the room. Brother Sam, manager, and almost like a brother, Francis. I'll come to you first, Sam. That was pretty good, right?
Yeah, no, he boxed brilliant. I think credit to his opponent. He was a tough man. Come to win, as we said before. Like, obviously, he believes in himself and he trains hard. But I think Sean done well. I thought, I was really impressed with the pace. I even said to everyone like ringside, I said going into round 4, I thought, guys, good. But he come out on top, and I think, yeah, the hard work shows.
Francis, I know when it comes to you managing your fighters, every step is meticulously planned. There would have been a process behind what happened tonight. Why Jermaine Osbourne-Edwards, and what a performance? Give us your thoughts.
Listen, it's just about, it's building blocks, isn't it? And, it's just about, making sure that not every fight is going to be a 12-round slog. We thought Jermaine would come and bring it tonight, and he certainly did. The instruction, I think, was for Sean not to be following around the ring. And and we knew Jermaine would bring it tonight, and he did. And I think he brought the best out in Sean. A couple of frustrating rounds, I think, but on the whole, good performance, good building performance, and it gives us a lot more confidence now. Looking at future fights in both welterweight and super lightweight divisions.
Yeah, I watched an interview with him. He was talking about moving down. He made that very comfortably tonight. So is that kind of what he's thinking about, perhaps moving down?
Listen, it's about right fights at the right time. The oldest adage in boxing.
Yeah.
Listen, Sean, he hasn't got the years on his side. Like his little brother Sam did.
I ain't far behind him.
But he is making up for lost time. The plan is to get him out a couple of times, before the end of July, and then I think it's a big fight, September, October. As I said after his last fight, it's not about marathon, not sprint, all the other stuff. It's predictable to say, but on those performances, if Sean keeps building on those performances, that he keeps adding to his artillery, adding to his skill set, keeps making the way he does, making sure that he's learning every day in the gym, making sure that he's doing his homework, and my job, Mickey's job, Queensbury's job is to select the right opponents and at the right time. Sean by the end of the year will be a British champion at super light or welterweight.
You've seen that, Sam. You've seen all the hard work he's putting in. It felt like a career best performance tonight in my book as well. You've seen British titles in his sights very soon.
Yeah, I think definitely, and hopefully beyond. I think, to be honest, he's getting better with every fight, and I was impressed with the pace and all the movement. As there's a couple little things to work on, but it's boxing. Everyone's always got a few things to work on, but I'm impressed with it, and I think he is as well.
So what happens now? How do you guys celebrate?
I can't really do a lot. I'm sort of in camp at the minute, Dev, so I imagine they'll go back and get a pizza or something like that, wouldn't they? But I've had a bit too many slices.
It's not about being ultra critical about, I'm not being critical about Sean's performance tonight. I think that was a very, very good performance. It's just about, he didn't load up. He picked his shots nicely, and he didn't, chase him around the ring. But it's about learning. And every fight is a learning fight, and for me, that was his, as you just said, that's his career best performance, and it's about building it and making sure the next opponent is about, his camp, make sure it enhances his career. It's not just about side steps. Everything's got to be a positive step forward. And tonight, a huge step forward in Sean Noakes' career.
And he headlined for the first time, just at your call, just like Sam did as well. These building blocks, this arena, doing it on Box Nation. How important is that in the career of someone like Sean Noakes?
Listen, you're still with this, this great iconic venue for Sam's career, and if they can do the same for Sean, let's get back here as soon as and keep going.
Well, while I've got you both, what's going on? What's next for Sam? We are itching to know. This is our unbeaten British Commonwealth European champion. What's going on, Francis? What's next?
Well, listen, he's number 2 to WBO, and there's some huge fights on the horizon for this young man to my right, and he's been very, very patient. He's not one to kick and scream about where's my day, where's this, that. He's very, very patient. However, we do need to see him back in the ring very soon, and we'll see Sam back in hopefully in May, and then a big fight later in the summer. That's the plan. Listen, we've hunted down people at British, Commonwealth, European level, and I think Sam's probably beyond that now. There's a couple of guys who are from the UK who qualify to fulfil that world title ambition or fulfil that world title, road to world title, I should say. And now the likes of Joe Cordina, great fight. Josh Paddy, great fight. Winner of Kakashi Leywood, would they want to step up and have a fight with Sam? Fantastic domestic bust-up. But in the same vein, Shakur would have that in a heartbeat.
Spot him.
Yeah, I mean, we said that earlier. I said if that fight comes up, I'll grab that with both hands, definitely.
Javonta, have it.
Again, both hands.
I like
and he's number one WBO. Once, you're going to have to pronounce his name, Dev.
Number one?
Yeah.
Dennis Baranchik?
No.
Oh, yeah, well, I'll leave that one with Sam. Do you want to pronounce his name?
He's got his IBF interim world title fight. Once he has that, he removes himself from the WBO rankings. Sam steps into number one position. So, Sam, I think, in terms of the lightweight division, there is no better place for a world title fight than Sam Noakes.
I like that. Do you like the sound of all that?
That's
Sam?
good. It's got a good ring to it. Good finish.
A lot of names mentioned there, likes of Cordina, likes of Kakashi Wood.
Yeah, but I mean that's the sort of stage we're getting to, isn't it? I think they are going to get bigger and harder. So I think, but if we're talking about world titles and everyone's going on about, I want to do this, I want to do that, then they're the fights we're going to have. It is what
Exciting
it is.
times, then.
Yeah, you're ready. Final word from both of you on Sean tonight. Great performance, right?
Terrific.
Very good performance.
Great. Let you both go. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Francis. Two happiest men and maybe the sweatiest hands here tonight as well, Sam Noakes. Ollie Bessel and Echo Esselman. Welcome back. Echo, tremendous tonight from you, by the way. I watched all your analysis and everything, so you're taking a few notes here and there. Great to have you tonight. Did you enjoy being part of the broadcast?
Yeah, definitely enjoyed it. Waxing lyrical on the commentary team and giving my insight. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem at all. And what did you make of Sean Noakes? It's your weight division. Listen, he's a few steps behind. He's an English champion, but he's making his way. To me, it felt like a career best performance tonight.
I think he performed very well. He turned the screw when he needed to turn it. He had a round off when he needed to have it, but he came back strong for it, and look at that finish.
What was it like in there? Because I'll tell you what, Ollie, his fans make plenty of noise. That Maidstone Massive, they turned out for Sean Noakes.
The question before the show started tonight, Dev, was can he handle the main event? The answer was yes. Did his fans blow the roof off York Hall? The answer was yes. I think he ticked all the boxes tonight. On to bigger and better things for Sean Noakes.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see a few holes in the roof, actually. I think you may well be close. Let's hope it doesn't rain. But Echo, listen, he's an English champion, right? You have been an English champion in the past as well. It's all stepping stones, it's building blocks. It's an important belt for him to have, right?
Oh, definitely. The English stepped me up to my IBF challenge, which was actually in here during lockdown, and then to my British Commonwealth, IBF European, the WBO European, and also when I won that WBC silver of Congo. All these belts just help put you instead for greater matches during your career.
All on the road. And what about Ezra Taylor tonight, your Nottingham friend? Great performance, 2-round knockout, got it done.
Oh yeah, wicked. I mean, you can't fault him. He set about him. Obviously, his opponent came out with a style that was trying to spoil everything that Ezra could do, but Ezra just he stayed true to his name, the Cannon.
The Cannon. And listen, we talked about this, Ollie. We talked about how Ezra Taylor, let's hope he's not overlooking anyone. This could be a banana skin, etc. But no banana skins tonight for Ezra Taylor.
No, he did a serious job. And look, on to May now, on to Nottingham, and then again, we're not looking past opponents, but then Louis Edmondson. I'm going to keep bringing the name up because he keeps bringing the name up, and it's a big fight down the line. We're not overlooking May at all. We're not overlooking what he's got in front of him every step of the way, but ultimately we want those big fights for Ezra. He's put in another phenomenal performance tonight against Ryan Maycock, and again, like I keep saying, bigger and better things now.
Great stuff, Ollie. Great stuff, Echo Esselman. Thank you both. Great to have you both. And thank you for joining us. Well, the headline tonight is Sean Noakes retains his English welterweight championship. He defeats Jermaine Osbourne-Edwards via TKO, the first man to ever do that. This show has been called Real Steel, and all day I've been trying to figure out why is it called Real Steel. And I think just about by the end, I figured this out. It's because it was free on YouTube. That's why it was a real steal. We'll see you next time.